A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
This I believe. Mr. Van Horn Ely, Jr., is a Philadelphia businessman. He was born in Buffalo, New York, and moved to Philadelphia nearly 40 years ago. After graduating from Princeton University, he started his career in the banking business. Later, he became affiliated with the Philadelphia Suburban Water Company. He has been with them for the past 22 years, and is now the vice president of that company. He lives with his wife and 2 children in Paoli, Pennsylvania. Hear now the creed of Van Horn Ely, Jr.
The greatest source of unending pleasure is all around me in the shape of my fellow human beings. Everything I do is a result of some form of contact or activity with others like myself. I believe that the way to get the most happiness out of my everyday life is to approach others with the belief that they are happy individuals who welcome their contact with me and who sincerely want to be pleasant and honest with me. I believe that the natural impulse of most individuals is one of fellowship and kindred spirit. I have found that the more conscious I am of this kindred spirit between men, the more readily I plunge into the mainstream of life. The knowledge and inspiration that I have gained by feeling this way have had a far-reaching effect on my life. More than 3,000 years ago, one man who possessed a deep reverence for God and his fellow men devoted his life to bringing peace and order to his people. He realized that to have law and order among them, he would need some plan or code as a basis. In his humility, this man, a young Hebrew called Moses, appealed to the Almighty for assistance. God rewarded his trust and gave him the 10 Commandments on 2 tablets of stone. These have been the guide for millions of people down through the ages to keep each and every one of us reminded of his obligation to his fellow man and to his Creator. I believe that deep down in every one is a veiled realization that he is a child of God, and that whether or not he has subscribed to the 10 Commandments and their great philosophy, he unconsciously feels the need for their guiding principles: self-respect, self-improvement, self-reliance, and self-discipline. He unconsciously realizes, I believe, that thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. And although this often runs counter to his own selfish interests, he has learned by many a sad lesson that men enjoy the peace given here on earth in much the same measure as they show interest in the well-being of others. Man is born of a group. Without group living, his survival would be difficult indeed, with few, if any, opportunities to develop his talents and strive for the pursuit of happiness. I believe that I personally can do much to shape the future for myself and those around me. It is a breathtaking challenge. In a very real sense, I can help stabilize the world. For everything is in terms of the individual units: the family, the community, the country, and the world. And as America goes during the next 5 or 10 years, so probably will go the world. Human nature has not changed down through the centuries. The same shortcomings of 1,000 or more years ago are present today, but also is present the instinctive liking of one individual for another. And so I believe that if I approach my problems and my dealings with others, whether they be business or social contacts, with an open mind and heart, I will have a life rich with understanding of others and be tenfold repaid with the trust and love of my fellow men.
That was Mr. Van Horn Ely, Jr., the vice president of the Philadelphia Suburban Water Company. His appreciation of the importance of friendship has brought him joy and satisfaction in his daily living.
Crime Photographer.
Miss Williams. I was just telling Casey.
Hello, Annie. What have you got there?
Hi, Ethelbert. Oh, Casey, don't they look good? I just couldn't resist them.
A jar of strawberry preserves. Say, they look just like those my grandmother used to make.
Somebody talking about food?
Well, look, Tony. Don't they look wonderful?
Oh, they sure do. And in a glass jar, too. Oh, smart gal, Annie. See the anchor and the H on the bottom? This jar was made by Anchor Hocking. Anchor Hocking, a great name in glass. Crime Photographer, brought to you by Fire King Oven Glass. Anchor glass containers, Anchor caps and closures. All products of Anchor Hocking, a great name in glass. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Marvin. Every week at this time, the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation brings you another adventure of Casey, crime photographer, ace cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Written by Alonzo Dean Cole. Our adventure for tonight, The Handkerchief. Joe Paletti's Tavern in the factory district at 11:30 o'clock on a Friday night is almost deserted. Behind the long bar, two white-coated bartenders are busily polishing glasses, while Joe Paletti himself, a jovial-looking fat man, checks his cash register. The street door opens and a huge uniformed policeman enters.
Evening, Joe.
Lieutenant McHugh.
Hi, Mac.
Hello, Lieutenant.
Bill, Andy. Say, where's your other barkeep tonight, Joe?
Gus? He was not feel so good. I told him go home and lie down. But he'll be back on the job at 12 o'clock when the rush starts.
This is the night of your big rush, isn't it? Friday's payday at the factory.
5 minutes after 12 o'clock, everyone who's quits work at midnight comes in to cash his paycheck. And buy a drink.
Or a dozen drinks. You've got a sweet racket, Joe.
To cash these checks is good business. What do you have, Lieutenant?
I'm out of cigars again.
Well, here's your special brand.
Thanks. Say, how much worth of checks you figure on cashing for that factory crowd tonight?
Well, last week was over 16,000. Tonight in my safe upstairs, I got 20,000 bucks.
Well, that's a lot of dough. Too many people know you keep heavy cash on hand these Friday nights. That's dangerous.
Oh, what's dangerous? And I got a first-class safe in my apartments upstairs. And I also got a burglar alarm. Ain't you cops got a precinct station just 1 block away? If anybody tried to stick me up, ain't you going to come and stop him?
You're a hard guy to argue with, Joe.
Because he's got a thick skull, McHugh.
What are you doing here, Snyder?
I just dropped in for a beer.
Snyder, when I paid you off 2 weeks ago, I told you to get out of my place and keep out.
So what? Public place, isn't it? Come on, draw me a beer, Joe.
All right. Bill.
Yeah, boss.
Give this louse a beer. See he pays for it.
Okay.
Your boss don't like me, Bill.
Neither do I, or anybody else here. Here's your beer.
Thanks. Here's your dough. Where you working now, Snyder? I ain't working. Joe Paletti's seen to that.
I ain't recommending no bartender I catch you stealing from my cash register.
I didn't steal. If you could prove I did, you'd have turned me over to the cops. Joe could have proved it. He just gave you a break, Snyder. And you're not decent enough to appreciate it. Now finish your beer and get out of here. Okay, copper, I'll drink up and get out. Mind if I wipe my mouth off first? How do you guys like this handkerchief I'm using? Pretty classy, huh?
Yeah, it's just like you, Snyder. It's loud, it's cheap, and it's got a lot of yellow in it.
Maybe someday, Joe, you'll be kind of sorry for the raw stuff you pulled on me. But so long. When I see you next, I hope it's in the obituary columns. He's got a few drinks under his belt, Joe. If he comes back tonight, you better keep an eye on him. You too, Bill.
He won't bother the boss, Mac.
Well, I've got to get back to the station house. Here's for the cigars, Joe.
Thanks.
So long.
So long. Oh, Lieutenant.
Yes, Joe?
How's your wife?
Oh, about the same. She doesn't get any better.
She's been sick a long time, huh?
Yeah, over a year.
Cost you plenty of money, huh?
Every cent I had.
Look, if I can help
Now, thanks, Joe, but the guy in my job can't borrow dough from, well, not and keep his nose clean. I'll see you later.
So long, Mac.
Good night, Lieutenant. Andy.
Yeah?
You bring up plenty lemons?
More than we need, Joe.
Okay. 10 minutes to 12. I go upstairs now and get the money from my safe to catch them paychecks.
When is Gus supposed to get back here, Bill?
12 o'clock, Andy.
I hope he gets here. We need help to handle that factory mob.
Gus won't let us down. I wonder if we shaved enough ice.
There's plenty. Say, what was that rat Snyder in here for? I was at the far end of the bar when you and the boss and Lieutenant McHugh were talking to him.
Oh, he was just...
What's that?
Gunshots.
Upstairs, where the boss is.
That's his burglar alarm.
Come on.
I'm with you. We're coming, Joe.
The door is locked. We got to break it down.
Let's go, together.
Hey, look. The safe is open.
There's Joe.
On the floor.
He's been shot through the head.
That back window's open. The killer busted out there.
Did you see anyone?
No, too dark. But the cops will hear that alarm. They'll get whoever did this.
Andy, I know who did it.
What?
Come here. Look at that handkerchief on the floor.
Handkerchief?
That's the loud one Ed Snyder had tonight.
Now that Labor Day is past, it might be well to take stock and see what new equipment you need in your kitchen and dining room. Here's a suggestion. Go to your favorite chain, variety, hardware, or department store and make a selection of Fire King oven glass. You will find casseroles of different sizes and styles, baking dishes for meatloaves and hot breads, pie plates, mixing bowls, and custard cups. In fact, there's a Fire King dish for every baking requirement. Prices are almost unbelievably low, and each piece of Fire King oven glass is guaranteed for 2 years against oven breakage. Fire King oven glass is sturdy and dependable in your kitchen and remarkably attractive on your table. Fire King oven glass is a product of Anchor Hocking. A great name in glass.
All right, now, Bill, if you and Andy will take another pose in front of that door you busted open after you heard the shooting.
Like this, Mr. Casey?
Yeah, that's fine, yeah. Hey, you get in this shot, too, Gus.
Well, I didn't get here till after poor old Joe was killed, Mr. Casey.
Well, that doesn't matter. You're one of the bartenders. Stand next to Andy, huh?
Okay, all right.
All right, all face the camera now. Hold it. That does it.
You got enough pictures, Casey. Now I want these gentlemen to go on telling me what happened after they found the body.
Well, we told you about all there is to tell, Miss Williams. The cops and Lieutenant McHugh here, they come running up these stairs only about a minute later.
We'd heard the burglar alarm, of course. Well, how do you figure Paletti pressed that alarm button after he was shot through the head, Lieutenant, huh? He fell on the button, Casey. It was next to the safe. Oh.
But you policemen didn't catch the killer, Lieutenant. He got away through that dark alley with Joe Paletti's $20,000. Is that right?
Yes, but he won't get far with that 20 grand, Miss Williams. That yellow handkerchief Bill found on the floor told us who he is. I've got every cop in this precinct looking for Snyder.
You say he's been a bartender whom Paletti fired for theft.
Yes, and an all-around rat. Lieutenant Mack, how do you figure Snyder got in here, huh? Bill says Paletti always kept that window locked. Well, this Snyder guy could have come up these front steps. There's 2 doors at the bottom, one leading into the bar and the other onto the street.
But Paletti wouldn't have let him in the door up here, not Snyder.
Doesn't matter how he got in. Before he got out, he left evidence enough to burn him. I'd recognize that loud yellow handkerchief among 1,000 others.
So would I, Lieutenant.
Thanks, Sergeant. We'll go up now and look things over. Come on, you fellas.
Captain Logan, Casey.
Hello, Logan.
Why, Casey.
So the big boss of the homicide squad has finally gotten here.
Hiya, Captain.
I might have known you two'd get around to get in my hair. Hello, McHugh.
Glad to see you, Captain. Hello, Doc. Pete.
Get to work, you tech men. There's your corpus delicti, Doc. Now, Lieutenant McHugh, your sergeant downstairs has given me the general layout. It's open and shut on this guy Snyder, huh?
As far as I'm concerned, there's his handkerchief. Bill, the head bartender here, identifies it, too.
100%.
Yeah. Not many guys that carry a loud-colored handkerchief like that.
It's a cheap handkerchief, Logan, which means a lot of guys probably carry them.
Casey, you must have all the pictures you need by this time. Go back to your paper with them and don't bother me.
Ann and I have got to stick around for the payoff, pal.
Well, sure. We're waiting for Snyder to be brought in.
All right. Can you tell what caliber bullet killed the guy, Doc?
I can, Captain. There's a .38 caliber slug lying under this chair. Wouldn't touch it, of course, till you homicide guys got here.
I see, Lieutenant. It's a .38, all right.
Caliber you cops use.
Yeah. Police positive size.
Lieutenant Mack,
Yes, Casey?
where did this guy Snyder carry this handkerchief you saw him use tonight?
You remember, Bill?
Yeah, sure, in his coat, the breast pocket. I remember him tucking it back there.
Huh? Why do you suppose he took it out of his breast pocket and dropped it here? As a definite lead?
Well, I don't know. Maybe Paletti's last act was to yank that wiper out of Snyder's pocket.
That's possible.
Lieutenant, you were in the precinct house when the burglar alarm went off, huh?
No, I was out getting some air around the corner.
Alone?
Yes. Why?
Just wondering.
Nobody ties Snyder up with his handkerchief except you and Bill, Lieutenant.
Say, look here, Captain. You're not getting the wild idea that maybe...
Until I have more than this handkerchief as evidence against Snyder, I'm going to investigate this job from every angle.
But you can't possibly think that
Captain Logan,
Yes, Feldman?
we've got Snyder.
Bring him up here.
Yes, I get pictures out.
Okay, Snyder, get moving. Come on, you.
Okay. You don't have to yank my arm off.
So, you're Snyder.
I ain't trying to say any different. Hello, McHugh.
You tried to get away with a little murder tonight, didn't you, Snyder?
The smug who pinched me gave me the idea that's what you'll try to pin on me. Prove it if you can.
Shut up until you're asked to talk.
Yeah, okay, copper.
You made the pinch, Feldman?
Yes, Captain. He was sneaking out of an alley on Chester Street. He started to run, and I had to throw a shot over his head.
Sneaking out of an alley, eh? Started to run.
That don't prove I murdered anyone, McHugh.
Shut up.
Of course, you searched him, Feldman.
First thing, sir. No gun on him and no sign of Joe Paletti's 20 grand. But I found these in his pocket.
30 caliber cartridges, huh?
That's all we need, Captain.
38.
Naturally, he threw away the .38 revolver used to kill Paletti.
I never had any .38 revolver. I picked them cartridges up on the street.
Sure. And I suppose you lost the nice colored handkerchief you had in the bar tonight.
I don't know what you mean, McHugh.
He didn't have any colored handkerchief when I pinched him, Lieutenant.
Is this your handkerchief, Snyder?
Well, No, I never saw that thing before.
We know it's yours.
What have you done with the money you took from Paletti?
I didn't take no money. I didn't kill Paletti.
The truth now will save you a lot of trouble, Snyder.
Well, Okay, I'll tell you what you want to know.
You killed Paletti.
Yeah.
That does it, Casey.
Yeah, that does it.
Now, Snyder, what did you do with the 20 grand you took?
That's the big payoff question, ain't it, copper? Well, I wanted to pay me something, so you don't get it answered until I see my lawyer.
Take him to headquarters, boys.
Come on, Snyder.
Okay, copper.
Gonna let him see a lawyer now, Logan?
Why not? He's confessed the murder. And, Casey, did you almost get me on a phony track about Lieutenant McHugh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was all wrong.
100%. Well, see you later, pal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so long.
Come on, Casey, let's get our stuff to the office.
Okay, Annie. Annie, you know, it's funny.
What?
I've got the doggonedest hunch that I wasn't all wrong.
The whole thing is blown up in my face, Casey. Snyder didn't kill Paletti.
Calm down, Logan, and tell me about it.
The lawyer Snyder insisted on seeing came in at noon today with 7 reputable witnesses.
Witnesses to what?
To a perfect alibi. At the time Paletti was shot, between 11:55 and midnight, Snyder was in a restaurant nearly a mile away.
7 reputable witnesses say that. Huh?
They're ready to swear to it.
Well, how does he explain his phony confession?
Claims he had to stall us until he could prove his alibi.
That's pretty thin.
Sure. The truth is that he's a small-time cop hater who was getting a kick out of making us look like saps.
And he says he found those 38 shells and lost his handkerchief.
Yeah. Casey, I figure he did lose that handkerchief. Just outside Paletti's tavern, maybe. Somebody found it, got an idea, and planted it besides Paletti's body.
Any suspects?
I don't like to say this, but... Well, cops sometimes go wrong, Casey. Lieutenant McHugh has been under heavy expense on account of his sick wife, and 20 grand is a lot of dough.
Yeah. Snyder may have given his handkerchief to somebody, Logan.
What do you mean?
Well, if suspicions hadn't immediately centered on Snyder last night, everybody in the vicinity of Paletti's Tavern would have been a suspect, huh?
Yeah?
Anybody who couldn't furnish an on-the-spot alibi might have been searched for the murder gun and that dough.
Yeah.
So when Snyder was pinched and made his phony confession, He gave the killer plenty of time to get the stolen money under cover.
Snyder and the killer were working together.
That's my guess.
I think it's the right one. I'll have another talk with that rat Snyder.
No, pal. Don't. Let him go.
Let him go?
Yeah. With the idea that he's gotten away with it. But tail him, Logan. Day and night. Until he leads you to his partner, the guy who has that 20 grand.
Okay, Casey. We'll try it your way. But your way had better pay off.
Good night, Mrs. Wheelbreaker. The strangest darn people come in here sometimes.
Yeah, well, don't look at us when you say that, pal.
Casey! Hello, Miss Williams.
Hello, Ethelbert.
Say, I've been wondering when you two had come in. Anything new on that Paletti murder?
No, not yet, Ethelbert.
You know, I take a personal interest in that case, being as how it happened to a bartender, a brother professional, as you might say. Captain Logan's detectives have been shadowing that Snyder guy for 3 days now.
They sure have. They know what he's done every single minute.
He hasn't made or received any phone calls or made contact with anyone who might be a logical suspect. Or at least he hadn't up to noon today when Logan showed us the latest report on him.
It's nearly 6 o'clock. Maybe something's happened since.
Logan would have let me know if it had.
Maybe your idea about Snyder was wrong, Casey.
Listen, that's what I'm hearing from Logan. Now, don't you start pulling it. Give the idea a little time, huh?
Well, gee, I didn't mean... Oh, Walter, will you...
Never mind, Ethelbert, never mind. I'll get it. It's probably from me anyhow. Excuse me, Annie. Blue note.
That you, Casey?
Yeah. I thought it might be you, Logan. Anything new?
Get into that jalopy of yours and come to Spring Road off 200th Street as soon as you can make it.
Well, there's nothing but woods out there.
Oh, yes, there is. There's something I want you to see, smart guy.
What's that?
The dead body of Snyder.
There's all that's left of him, Casey, in that ditch.
Shot through the head.
Yeah, twice, with a .38 revolver, as Paletti was shot. Snyder'd been dead over an hour when he was found here.
Well, then that means that the detectives who were watching...
He gave him the slip, Miss Williams.
I wanted to keep this rat at headquarters and sweat the truth out of him, Casey. Instead, I listened to you. You see the result?
Yeah. You mind giving us some of the details, Logan?
I'd be happy to tell you all I know. You may have another bright idea.
Don't rub it in, huh?
I'm sorry. This is my fault, not yours.
Huh? Say, Logan.
I hope you'll have an idea to give me a different idea than I have.
Hey, pal, are you sick?
Here's what happened. At 3 o'clock this afternoon, Snyder was walking up Crosley Street with one of my guys behind him when he suddenly hopped into a Ford sedan, parked at the curb, and got away.
Huh?
Another guy was at the wheel all ready to go. I think the driver of that sedan was Snyder's partner in the Paletti murder. I'm still riding with your theory about that.
And he killed Snyder because...
He didn't want to share that 20 grand with him. He wanted it all.
Or because he knew Snyder was being trailed. Snyder was dangerous to him.
Yeah, that fits, too.
Obviously, he and Snyder met by appointment, Logan. Snyder expected him to be waiting in a car at that time and in that place.
Sure.
Well, then your killer is someone Snyder talked to since you turned him loose.
Yep.
You checked on everyone Snyder talked to?
Yeah. There hasn't been a logical suspect in the bunch, Casey, until today.
You mean he talked to somebody today?
Yeah. Several hours before he got into that sedan.
Who?
Lieutenant McHugh.
McHugh?
Captain Logan.
From the first, I figured McHugh might have killed Paletti, but I've never really believed he did.
You believe it now?
He needed that dough, Casey, all of it, for a sick wife. He's a cop. Paletti would have opened that upstairs door for him. I've known Mac a long time. He's been a good guy and a good cop.
Logan, where did he and Snyder talk today?
Outside of Paletti's tavern.
Paletti's tavern?
Yeah. Snyder had the nerve to go in there and ask for a drink. That's all he had a chance to do. One of the bartenders grabbed him and threw him out of the joint. Lieutenant McHugh came along just then and helped him out of the gutter.
Then they talked.
Yeah, for 2 or 3 minutes, walking up the street together. And McHugh went off duty soon afterwards, and he didn't go home. He could have met Snyder in that sedan. It looks like McHugh all the way, Casey.
How close was your detective when Snyder was given the bum's rush from Pauletti's?
Oh, he'd only just followed him inside the joint. It happened that fast.
Which bartender gave Snyder that rush act?
It was Andy.
Oh, Andy.
Who was in the bar downstairs when Pauletti was killed upstairs.
He couldn't have been Snyder's partner.
Oh. Your man sure it was Andy, huh?
We didn't have time to ask for names, but the description he gave me is Andy's tall with dark hair.
Well, Bill is tall, but he's bald.
Well, Gus has dark hair. Oh, but he isn't tall. Say, your guy got only a quick look at that bartender.
Yeah, but he couldn't be wrong about it.
Wait a minute, Logan. A medium-sized guy looks tall when you see him beside a very short guy. Now, Snyder was a shrimp, and Gus hauling him around by the collar would look like a 6-footer.
But Gus!
Pauletti would have unlocked that upstairs door for Gus, Logan. He was a trusted employee. Gus didn't report for work until after Pauletti was killed.
Casey, you're right. Let's get Gus and go to work on it.
He's a tough cookie, Logan. You'll never break him.
I'll make him talk.
I don't think you will. Look, Logan, can I stick my neck out again?
Casey, I'll listen to anything now.
All right. We'll take Gus for a little ride.
A ride?
Yeah. But not in a police car this time. We'll use my jalopy. Where are you guys driving me to? You said you were taking me to headquarters. Hey, we're way out in the country. We changed our minds about headquarters, Gus. What do you mean? Too many people hang around down there. Where are you taking me?
Just take it easy, sucker.
Look, you're a cop, Captain Logan. You can't kid me into thinking that...
We know you got that 20 grand, Gus.
I tell you, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, that's what you told us.
It's what I'll go on telling you. This is a nice deserted spot, Logan.
Yeah, a perfect spot, Casey.
Shall I stop here?
Yeah.
Right. Hey, what are you going to do here?
Just talk. For a while.
Step out of the car, Gus. Oh, yeah. Hey, why are you pulling that gun? You can't bluff me. I ain't afraid. What have you done with the money you stole from Pauletti? I told you. What have you done with that dough? I ain't got it. We want that 20 grand, Gus.
And we're going to have it.
Hey. I'm getting a picture now. You two came to my hotel room alone. You bring me out here alone. I get it now. You two are working together. Logan and I do a lot of work together, Gus. So that's it. You want that dough for yourselves.
Where is it?
I ain't talking.
We'll see about that. Here, Casey, hold my gun on this mug.
Sure, pal. Don't you drop the gun. I'll get it. No, I got it. Easy. Stick up your hands, you lousy. Stick them up. Okay. Thanks for this scat. You two saps should have stayed honest. You ain't got the brains for fast stuff. So you thought you'd hijack my 20 grand. Listen, Gus, you're in the racket. You know how guys have to figure. If you'd been nice and told us where to find that dough...
Sure, Gus. We'd have been nice.
So now I'll be nice to you. And tell you where to find it. It's buried under a flower bed on my old man's grave in Oakwood Cemetery. I buried the gat I used to kill Pauletti and Snyder there, too.
That was smart.
Yeah. I think of little things like that. Just like you mugs thought of bringing me to this deserted spot. In a car that I'll drive away. Alone.
Gus, you're not going to...
No, Gus. You hit it between the eyes like Snyder and Pauletti. Now!
Something the matter, Gus?
This gun is empty.
Uh-huh. That's another little thing we thought of.
Well, you double-crossed me.
Thanks for the confession, Gus. Come on.
Now we're really going to headquarters.
All right. And then, Casey, you and I have got something to do with the Blue Note.
What's that, Logan?
I'll tell you on the way about it.
The present low cost of glass containers and the fact that they can be used so economically to protect the flavor of food products of all kinds is due in no small measure to the pioneering work of the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation. The advantages of glass are many and obvious. Glass lets you see what you buy before you buy it. Glass containers are easy and safe to open. Glass won't affect flavor or aroma. Anchor glass containers and tamper-proof anchor caps, so widely used by the food packing industry, are products of Anchor Hocking. A great name in glass.
So you cops found that 20 grand and the murder gun just where Gus said it was. Eh, Captain Logan?
That's right, Ethelbert.
Yeah. Gus figured he had no reason to lie to a pair of dead pigeons, as he figured Logan and me to be.
Well, I'm certainly glad that a disgrace to the bartending profession like he was is going to get what he deserves. Hey, by the way, Captain, what brings you here to the Blue Note tonight?
Ethelbert, Casey and I want a box of the best cigars you have in the place.
Yeah, we want you to send them to Lieutenant McHugh, Ethelbert. Here's his address here.
Well, sure, but Casey, why are you and Captain Logan, head of the homicide department, sending cigars to a cop?
Well, you see, that is...
It's just... you see, McHugh likes to smoke cigars.
Crime Photographer is directed by John Dietz and stars Stotts Cotsworth as Casey. It is written by Alonzo Dean Cole and is based on the fictional character of Casey created by George Harmon Cox. It's lighter, more compact. It requires no deposit, no return to the store. We're talking about the famous Anchor Glass beer and ale bottle pioneered by Anchor Hocking shortly before the war. It will soon be released for civilian use, so watch for it. The new Anchor Glass one-way, no-deposit bottle, a product of Anchor Hocking. A great name in glass. Our cast features Miss Leslie Woods as Anne, John Gibson as Ethelbert, Bernard Lenrow as Logan, and the Blue Note pianist is Herman Chittison. The original music is by Archie Blyer. Crime Photographer is brought to you each Thursday at this time by the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, and its more than 10,000 employees. Anchor Hocking. A great name in glass. Speaking, this is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
This, I believe. Vern O. Knudsen is one of the world's foremost experts in acoustics, the science of sound. His activities in this field and his job as dean of UCLA's graduate division make him a very busy man, but he still finds time for his hobby of music. This seems nicely appropriate, since his studies of acoustics in the theaters and concert halls all over the world have added much to the enjoyment of listening to music. Here is Vern Knudsen's creed.
I believe that a chief purpose of life is to seek the truth, because he who seeks and finds the truth finds also joy and freedom. My acceptance in youth of this belief was based on faith in the teachings of home, church, and school, but numerous experiences in my adult life have demonstrated the joy and freedom that come from the successful pursuit of truth. I shall cite one example from my researches in acoustics that is typical of the scientific method of searching for the truth. In a series of measurements of the reverberation of sound in a new laboratory, it was found, contrary to existing beliefs, that the reverberation of sound depends greatly upon the temperature and humidity of the air. The pursuit of this truth led to the discovery that collisions between oxygen and water molecules in the air result in the absorption of sound by amounts that can be accurately calculated in terms of the temperature and humidity of the air. This made it possible to control the experiments in such a way as to be free from the vagaries of the weather and to predict how the propagation of sound is affected by temperature and humidity. I believe that we must suspect and scrutinize that which is presented to us last and most frequently. This belief has been strengthened by numerous findings in my study of acoustics. For example, listen to these two sounds produced here simply by clapping my hands twice in rapid succession. Most of you will agree that the second clap was louder than the first. It actually was about 3 decibels greater. The average listener can detect a difference of about 1 decibel when the two sounds are presented in immediate succession. If there is a lapse of only a few seconds between the two sounds, the one must exceed the other by 5 or 6 decibels in order to be recognized as the louder. And as the time interval between the two sounds increases, the greater must be the difference in their decibel levels in order to know which was the louder. Unless, and this is important to demagogues and propagandists, unless we hear them again and again. If we are to be strong and worthy enough to continue our inheritance of this good land, truly the most favored and abundant portion of the planet Earth, we must constantly seek and find the truth in the best books, in the best sermons, in the best forums, and especially in our own very best thinking. And when we find that truth, we must believe in it and act by it. If I know the truth, feel the truth, and act by the truth, I shall not be swayed by demagoguery as are reeds in the wind. I shall not be molded by the latest and the mostest, as is clay in the potter's hands. Rather, I fervently believe I shall know where I am going, I shall reach my goal, and I shall find joy and peace of mind in the going. Throughout my life, I have continued to believe in the Sermon on the Mount, in Paul's sermon to the Corinthians on faith, hope, and charity, in the dying but immortal words of Socrates, in the Chinese graces of kindness and high-mindedness. Finally, I believe in honesty, but not merely in honesty as the best policy. Unless honesty is honorable, unless it is based on something more substantial than expediency, it has lost much of its virtue and is not worthy of the good life.
Those the beliefs of Dr. Vern O. Knudsen of Los Angeles, an educator and scientist with a strong devotion to truth.
Crime does not pay. He thinks he can get away with that. Oh, Pat don't need nothing, Martin. He just needs dough to stay on the land. That isn't the way I read it. If the ground is in here by Tuesday, I'll have to do something I don't want to do. How does that read to you? But the man is going to steal him plenty. All he needs is he might have to take a job. What's dough to stay on the land? You know that, Martin. All I know is Rita gave me the job for taking him. And letting him drive him out like Pat and stay around and for taking anybody. So what are you going to do? Catch some buffalo. Mm-hmm. I'd like to take a little trip here. You ever seen that before, hmm? That's where you want to go. Just right next door to Buffalo. Well, trip like that ought to bring us within easy rifle shots of Pat Manning. In the interest of good citizenship and law enforcement, we present Crime Does Not Pay. based on the famous Maxwell Goldwyn Mayer series of short subjects. In just a moment, you will hear Don't Write, Telephone, starring Jack LaRue. Now, Crime Does Not Pay, starring Jack LaRue as Marty White in Don't Write, Telephone. Every thriving business, no matter where or what, has assets. When the owner or the manager takes a leave of absence, goes on a business trip or merely on vacation, he tries to see to it that those valuable assets are protected. The same procedure applies to organized crime, which operates in a very businesslike manner. The assets of organized crime are the territories it controls and the rackets by which it profits. And when the boss in any district leaves town, a thick lieutenant is charged for the protection of those assets. Therefore, when the moment came, Leo Dunn, big boss in the city, called in Marty White. You sent for me, Leo? Yeah. The heat's on, Marty. Oh, I heard. You see, nobody ever bothers me. I know. That's why I sent for you. Well, what's up? The UDA? Check. That overgrown flatfoot is actually trying to make good on the promises he made to the jerks who elected him. Well, you haven't taken care of. No, that wouldn't be smart. Funny about the dumbheads who elect characters like the DA. Knock off their boy and they get real mad. And nobody operates until somebody tries for the job. No sense paying off that way unless you have to. I get it. So you're closing shop for a while, huh? No, not exactly, Marty. Me and the boys are going on a lam for a while, till the town cools off. Meantime, we thought you might like to run the joint for us. Could be. What's in it? You'll be taken care of. At least 10% of the take while we're out of town. More if you do a good job. Am I supposed to do this by myself? You can have Shiv Scannell. Everybody else is hot on a pistol. Well, you got a deal. When? Now. I'm catching a plane tonight. You were pretty sure, weren't you, Leo? Sure, I was sure. Nobody ever says no to Leo Dunn. Not even Marty White. He lives very long afterwards. Marty. Something I know mine, Shiv? Didn't even look at the mail yet. Nothing in it. How can you tell? You didn't look. Well, I can tell you all about this job. Come in around noon, sit here till 6, make a few rounds till 11, hit a couple of the clubs till 3, same tired days and the same tired routine. Go home, hit the sack, the next day the same thing. First thing you know, I'll be going to church on Sunday, just so to break the monotony. What would you expect, fireworks or something? You know Leo and the fellows got this territory sewed up like a Scotsman's pocket. Now, I figured something would happen. Something would get out of line. I don't know, something. When nothing happens, that's okay by me. Here, read the mail. I told you there's nothing in it. Here. This was marked from Buffalo. Captain Mangan, it looks like. He stashed himself in Buffalo, ain't he? Yeah, I think so. Oh, okay, let's see what he's got to say. Well, what do you know? Get this, Shiv. Say, Marty, seeing as how you are standing in for Leo, I am writing this to you. As you no doubt know, I am sitting here where they tell me McKinley got knocked off because all of us had to lay him out of town on account of a certain character getting very busy in our custom hangout. So I am here not on account of I want to be, but because when I hear an order, I do so. But now I'm out of dough. I am clean. I am strictly on my upper, so to speak. I therefore request a roll. I figure $1,000 will do me until we can go back into business. And if $1,000 isn't here by Tuesday, I'll have to do something I don't want to do. Awaiting a reply quick and fast, I remain very true to yours, Cat Mangan.
You know, that's a good English. Not on account of I want to. It don't sound right to me.
Mm-hmm. So he thinks he can get away with theft.
Oh, Cat don't mean nothing, Marty. He just needs dough to stay in the land.
That isn't the way I read it. And if $1,000 isn't here by Tuesday, I'll have to do something I don't want to do. How does that read to you, except that Mangan is going to squeal and plenty?
All he means is he might have to take a job. It costs dough to stay in the land. You know that, Marty.
All I know is Leo gave me the job of protecting him. Letting a blabbermouth like Cat Mangan stay around isn't protecting anybody.
So what are you going to do? Cat's in Buffalo.
How would you like to take a little trip, Shiv? Mm-hmm. You ever seen Niagara Falls, huh?
What for you want to go up there?
Well, Niagara's right next door to Buffalo, pal. A trip like that ought to bring us within easy rifle shot of Cat Mangan.
Well, Marty White, as I live and breathe.
Hiya, Paul. It's been a long time.
Yeah, not since you did that little job for me across the border. How have you been?
Okay, within reason. You know Shiv Scannell, Shiv? Paul's Moran.
Hiya, Mr. Moran. Glad to have you in our town, Scannell. Well, what's the pitch, Marty? I thought you were keeping an eye on things for Leo.
I am. That's why I'm here.
Oh. That's so. What do you think is wrong?
Nothing, as far as you're concerned.
Oh. Well, what then?
The Cat Mangan is hiding out up here.
Yeah, I know.
I know you know. He had a report to you, same as we did.
What about Cat?
He wrote a letter.
I always say don't write, telephone. Especially with women.
Maybe Cat should have done that, too.
Huh? That's so? Excuse me, Mr. Moran. I don't think...
Shut up! You don't think.
Okay.
Neat little warning typed down the end. Pay or else.
You sure?
Of course I'm sure. That's why I'm here.
What do you want from me?
This is your territory.
Definitely.
Well, I want an okay to take care of Mangan. Here.
You think he means it?
Well, he wrote it, so he's thinking about it. If he's thinking about it, how far is he from doing it?
Well, all right, you got it. How?
Well, we got his address in a room across the street. I brought my rifle. Just fitted for a silencer.
All right. But if you get in Dutch, don't ask for me. That's all.
We won't. Either way. See you around, Falls. After a while.
Sit down, will you, Shiv? I can't sit no more. 2 days we've been here, not a sign of...
Let's stand. Just stop walking up and down.
I can't help it, Marty. I ain't like you. I can't sit at no window for 2 days holding a rifle.
Why not? Nothing to it. When you have to use a rifle that you need any skill.
Let me go out for a walk, Marty.
No. What's with you, Shiv? You nervous?
No. Ever since I did that time, I can't stay in a room and I can't go out. I gotta walk.
Well, you'll walk. As soon as the job is done.
Who's that?
Well, you won't know till you ask.
Who's that?
That's you, Shiv? This is Paul. Marty there.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Come on in.
Well, nice layout you got here, Marty.
It'll do until we're through.
Nice rifle, too. Too bad you're not going to get to use it.
Why not? You protecting Mangan?
I don't have to. He's lammed again.
What?
Just kidding, Mr. Moran. No, I'm not. He must have spotted you when you took this room. In any case, he's conned some dough out of a couple of girls and headed west.
How far west?
He turned up in Detroit. Boys out there knew he'd been holed up here. I asked if I wanted him for anything.
What's he doing there?
Dealing in a joint on Wabash. I've got the address. You want it?
Want it? Pack up, Shiv.
We're heading west. Next stop, the motor metropolis. Thanks for the tip, Falls. Do you a favor sometime. How much longer, Marty? Till he comes out. 3 a.m. already. That's a song and dance. We're here. We're waiting. Okay. Only I thought... Never mind what you thought. You drive. I'll do the thinking and the shooting. I heard you. Can I turn the heater, Marty? I'm cold. Go ahead. Do you have to ask everything? Hold it. Is that him? Yeah, that's the cat. It's right down the stoop. Like you had nothing to worry about. Let's get him, Marty, so we can get out of here. Let him get close. The 38 isn't like a rifle. He's getting in that car, Marty. After him, quick. I can. Get him on the fly, Marty. Can't. Street's too rough. Look at him go. Keep after him. Doing my best. Keep him in sight, will you? I'm trying. All the rotten luck. You think he saw us? Maybe. Maybe not. Luck is right. That's why they call him Cat. He's got 9 lives. Anybody in the car waiting for him? It must have been. I didn't hear no starter. Somebody's him. Keep on his tail, will you? I'm keeping. Where's this road go to? Don't you recognize it, Jerry? We came over in the opposite direction yesterday. This is the way to the airport. Oh, was that pretty? Yeah, very pretty. With man in the border. That character's plenty lucky. Where we heading, Marty? To the bulletin board. They usually have a timetable tacked on it. Why, are we going someplace? I'm not sure yet. We'll see. Here it is. Flight 309 leaves here at 3:20. Stops at Chicago, then straight through to Los Angeles. Shadow stay in Chicago. Not him. He knows we're looking for him now. And Chicago's unhealthy. He'll go on through. So what are we going to do? We'll wait a while. Let him think he shook us. Then, you see, then I think we'll see what the weather's like in sunny California. In just a moment, Crime Does Not Pay will continue with Don't Write, Telephone. Now we continue with Crime Does Not Pay, starring Jack LaRue as Marty White in Don't Write, Telephone. Marty was still tagging along, hung around Detroit for a week, letting it be known in the proper places that they had no further interest in Cat Mangan. But once Marty felt certain that the grapevine, through whatever source had tipped off Cat before, had advised their target that he was no longer wanted, he took the next plane to California, complete with hunting equipment and a protesting shiv. I don't like this. I don't like it. What's down there, Shiv? Pretty country. I hate flying. You said the plane Cat took was pretty. Cat was on it, not me. What's wrong? You'd rather spend 3 days on the train? The train you can get off. This is like in college. Only ain't on the ground. You can't walk, not even from the cell door to the window. I get it. Before you know it, we'll be in California. But I'm afraid of it. Maybe we won't know it. Now you'll know it once we get there. Once we get there. Where you got the rod, Marty? Suitcase in the baggage. All pretty. Numbers filed off. Nobody'll ever trace them, not even the cops. Get a good look at that dame? What dame? One in the uniform that goes with the plane. You been making any passes? Me? Passes? No, of course not. No, see that you don't. We've got enough trouble on this operation. No dames, understand? Yeah, I understand. Only I still think you got that letter all wrong. And I got a feeling about this job. The whole thing smells like trouble to me. So, you're Marty White, huh? Lloyd?
Last night.
Alone?
No, I left Shiv at the hotel. Getting his land legs back. He sure hates flying.
Must have been in an awful hurry to get here.
I was, Fletcher. I understand you only have a few days of sunshine each year, so I wanted to catch the good weather.
Never mind the bum jokes, White. What do you want in my territory?
I want Cat Manning.
He's minding his own business, living in a little place over in Alta Vista. No trouble.
I wrote a letter. Said he'd talk unless I let him have $1,000 of Leo Dunn's money.
Oh, Cat's not that crazy.
Well, see for yourself. I carried that thing from home to Buffalo, to Detroit, now here. Excuse the creases.
I see. I'll have to do something I don't want to do. It's clear enough. Never thought Cat had tried something like this just for dough. Okay, what do you want from me?
Cat's address.
Ask the girl for it on your way.
And you're okay to take care of him here.
You've got that already.
And can you charter a plane for me?
How big?
Well, big enough for Shiv and me and the pilot. And big enough to get from here to Frisco or Las Vegas. We'll head east from either place.
I'll take care of it. When are you, working?
Tonight.
All right. Call me before you leave the hotel. I'll tell you which airport and the make and number. And, as the saying goes, Marty, good hunting.
He's in there. Where's his car? Garage is attached. The big door. You go in right from the house.
How are we going to get him without a chopper? He drives right out, that is.
Watch and see. That's his garage.
Like this? He drives out and you don't do nothing?
No, not yet. He'll be back. He thinks he's safe. Okay, Shiv, drive up that driveway and block him. We can wait until he comes home. Headlights coming up the hill, Shiv.
Think it's him?
Oh, we'll find out in a minute. Oh, the sucker, the crazy sucker. He's getting out to see who we are.
Where are you going, Marty?
No place. Just to meet our long-lost pal. So, you thought you'd sing, did you, Cat? Well, here's your grand from Leo with interest. Okay, Chip, let's ride. Three pieces of lead in them, I'm sure.
Where are we going now?
Straight out to the Burbank Airport.
Marty, we ain't gonna fly again.
You want to get home, don't you? Hear them? No, car, I don't hear any bells. That's no fire engine.
So quick?
You must have heard the shots. First bad break. Pull on, Shiv. There's a plane waiting for us. Let them chase us. We got wings once we hit that airport. Turn right, Shiv. Right onto the field.
Check.
There it is, the little one with the engine turning over. Here's where we ditch the buggy.
I don't know which I hate most, flying or cops.
Tonight, kid, you fly. But first, run for it.
Oh, you smell like trouble?
Save it. Tell me when we get home. Just a ship Fletcher chartered?
Sure is. You guys are in an awful hurry.
No time to talk. Let's go.
But, Dad, I got to get clearance from the tower.
You heard that. Cops, gun your engine.
I can't. I'll lose my license.
You see this? You'll lose more than your license. You don't take off right now.
Marty, those cops, they're stopping next to us. You're lucky.
Okay, fly boy. Do you fly or do you get a hole in your head?
Sure looks like I fly.
NC 56478 from Burbank Tower. NC 56478 from Burbank Tower. Return to field at once. You have taken off without clearance. Return to field at once. Over.
Burbank from 56478. Can't come back. There's a gun in my back.
Holy jumping.
Quiet. Cut that radio, you. Burbank, I'm being snatched. Cut that radio, I said. Let go of my arm. You want to kill us all?
NC 56478 from Burbank. Where are you heading? Who are your passengers? Over. 56478 from Burbank. 56478 from Burbank. Come in, 56478. Over. That's the plane that just took off, operator. I'm trying to raise him. So who are you? What are you doing in this tower? Metropolitan Police, Barclay, Lieutenant Homicide. They want the two passengers in that plane. I heard one of them threaten the pilot, sir. With a gun, it seems. He isn't answering anymore. Well, they've got a gun on him, all right. And what's the range of that type plane? About 400 miles, Lieutenant. Area map? On the wall over there, sir. Good. Your radio reach that far? Yes, sir. We have one waveband. Then get busy. Call them in. Give my name and authority. Tell them to have their local police stand by to pick up 2 killers when that plane comes down. Here's the list. San Francisco, Las Vegas, Reno, Phoenix, Williams, Sacramento, Carson City, Fresno, Stockton, Oakland. That's a starter. Now get going. Wherever those lads come down, they'll have a fine reception committee all ready for them. Look, they'll think it awfully funny when we land without clearance from the tower.
Not so that would tell them an emergency landing. Radio and jet here.
Well, they'll check it. They'll know better.
Never mind that now. Your job is to get us down.
Yeah, get us down. Easy, one piece. I thought the big planes were rough.
Maybe. Here, Ship, take this piece.
What for? Who knows we're coming into Frisco?
Maybe nobody, maybe everybody. Who knows?
If you only let me keep the radio on, it's been all right.
Shut up, you. Fly the plane.
Yes, sir. We're practically landed now. I don't care who says. The ones who are on the ground. Did it have to be Frisco line? Couldn't it have been closer?
I picked Frisco because it's so big. They figure we headed for a tank town someplace.
Okay, fella. We're down. You're on the ground. And you're on your own, but don't ask me to do it.
I'm asking you for nothing, see?
Monty, you killed him too?
I just clumped him. Here come two after a while. Here we go, Shiv.
All right. Third flight.
Come on, them lights. Cop.
Yeah, cop's all right.
Come out of that plane, both of you. San Francisco Police.
Come on, take us, Flatfoot.
You can't get away. You're covered. Are you coming out?
No use, Marty. It's no use. They're all around. Them lights. We're sitting ducks.
They don't take me. Go on. Go ahead if you want to.
I ain't no hero, Marty. I'm going.
All right, shooting. Marty.
Give up and sing, will you? Oh, not on me. Nobody rats on me.
Oh, White. Are you coming out? We saw you give it to your pal. We can get you without touching the pilot. Are you coming out?
Me? Come out? Are you coming in?
Let him have it, boy. Come in.
Crime does not pay. Jack LaRue, who was starred as Marty White in Don't Write, Telephone, will be back with you in just a moment. Now here in person is Jack LaRue.
The story you've just heard details some of the methods of operation of organized crime. Of course, in the end, the criminals were caught, as they always are. But think a moment of the police organization tied up in the fight against these men, of the good tax money, yours and mine, which is spent in this fight every day. If this type of criminal found no easygoing citizens to feast, no complacent communities within which to flourish, that money would go to improving our lives rather than to the fight against crime. What this all adds up to is this, that not only for the criminal, but for every citizen such as you and me, crime does not pay.
Thank you, Mr. LaRue. Crime Does Not Pay is written by Ira Marion and directed by Mark B. Lowe, with music composed and conducted by John Garth. Technical advisor is Burton B. Turtis. The events, characters, and names used in the story you've just heard are fictitious. Any similarity is purely coincidental.
This I believe. Verona Wiley Slater is the daughter of a strong-willed, tough-minded preacher who moved from a small town to New York's Park Avenue. She is the sister of the writers Philip and Max Wiley. When she returned her script, she said she had no public deeds to offer, and therefore nothing to tell about herself for an introduction. But for 20 years she has been a housewife, devoted to her job, her husband, and 3 children, and impatient with complaints that parents give nothing to the younger generation. Now, here is Verona Slater to share with us her brave beliefs.
My early life was spent in Presbyterian parsonages, where I learned a great deal about the thou shalt nots of this world. In those days, his parishioners' problems were often brought to the minister for settlement. He was supposed to be their spiritual advisor, marriage counselor, economic stabilizer, and psychiatrist. Sometimes Father referred to conferences with his flock, saying he had been wrestling with men's souls. In these mysterious matches, I thought of God as a giant referee who spoke through Father. My brothers and I held long conversations about what might be true or false in Christian teachings. One evening during a thunderstorm, my eldest brother was inspired to make an unholy experiment. He stood on a sloping rock which jutted out into the lake near our summer home. Holding his face upward, he defied the Almighty to strike him with a bolt of lightning. The storm was loud and close. The skies opened with a terrifying flash, but the bolt flew across the dark waters a mile away. We felt relieved, foolish, and very insignificant. I have felt unimportant many times since that night, and remembered with a smile the bolt of lightning which scorned the parson's children. It took many years to recover from the idea that God was a figure of personal vengeance. Now I think of God as a spirit of goodness reflected in sane human beings everywhere. In much the same way I look through the pantry shelves to see what is needed for dinner, I have frequently taken inventory of my thoughts, searching for a simple philosophy by which I might live. My philosophy embraces 3 things I would like to be as a woman: wise, gentle, and brave. To be truly wise would take more than one lifetime, perhaps, but achievable wisdom implies the use and enjoyment of my 5 senses. I can observe, I can read and gather at least a partial understanding of the world. I can learn by listening to others. I can enjoy music. I can taste what is sweet or bitter. I am warmed by the smell of smoke and pleased by the fragrance of flowers. With my fingers I might stroke the silken hair on the head of a child, but these same nerve ends keep my fingers from the fire. Gentleness is a sort of kindness which accumulates with wisdom. This is a big watchword in my book. It is so easy to become an opinionated monster after 40. With age, I want to preserve a benevolent attitude. Children need tenderness to combat their natural savagery and to comfort them in distress. A soothing manner is an important ingredient in any formula dealing with men. It lightens the tensions that shorten men's lives. A gentle approach toward other women is a vital necessity if I hope to accomplish anything in group projects and if I wish to have friends. The real value of gentleness is lost if it is not fortified with bravery. When I am afraid, I am paralyzed and ashamed. Women who show a quiet courage in grief and disaster fill me with admiration. I have to evaluate and control fear. In order to reason clearly, I must be brave. Rather than a monument to my own failings, I want my children to be a credit to the society in which they live. All the wisdom I can glean, all the gentleness I can maintain, all the courage I can command, I want for them.
That was Verona Wiley Slater, who, in applying her beliefs, has made a good life for herself and those around her. She lives with her family in Penn Valley, Pennsylvania.
Calling all detectives. Some people will go to any lengths to amuse their party guests, up to and including staging fake burglaries. That is the situation on this page from my casebook, the casebook of Jerry Browning, private detective. It's never good business for a private detective like me, Jerry Browning, to show off in public. But the man who walked into my office earned his living by doing just that. I'm Alvin Hartwell, a professional party giver. You put up the dough, I put on the show, with a guarantee to register you in the social register. Not me, Mr. Hartwell. I don't want to crash society. Wrong, Mr. Browning. You do want to be in society, because I'll pay you to be there. Tomorrow night's the time, the Robertson home is the place, and you are the star attraction. Yeah? And what do? Juggle? Hartwell grinned. Well, not exactly. This would be a Roomba party. Everybody who's anybody would be present. Object to get the Robertsons accepted by the Bon Ton. At the moment, there's a slight resistance to them, which is where you figure. Okay. But so far, I don't like anything I've heard, Mr. Hartwell. That's because you haven't heard the crack of the fresh money yet, but you will. Oh, yes, you will. Mrs. Robertson has a strand of superb emeralds, and I'm going to stage a fake robbery during the party, give the guests a thrill, get the Robertsons' names in the papers, and get another detective. Hartwell smiled, reached into his wallet, brought out a bunch of crisp bills. I'm not suggesting anything illegal, Mr. Browning. It's all in fun. Good publicity. And for you, $1, $2, $3, $4, $500 paid in advance for one night's work. I looked at the money and... you just hired yourself a detective. Against my better judgment, I agreed to attend a party and recover some emeralds after a fake robbery staged for publicity purposes. I got to the party early, but Hartwell, the professional party giver, was already there. He dragged me over and introduced me to my host and hostess. Robertson looked at me doubtfully. Mr. Browning, what do you think of this fake robbery idea? Personally, Mr. Robertson, I don't like it a bit, but a job's a job. Robertson nodded, mumbled something about Hartwell knowing his business. I took a good look at Mrs. Robertson's emeralds. They were worth looking at. Then Hartwell tugged at my arm. Come with me, Jerry, and I'll show you how we work the act. Hartwell led me to a big potted palm directly below where the orchestra, Don Jose and his boys, were setting up their instruments. At midnight, just as the folks are heading into the banquet table in the supper room, somebody will pull the light switch. While the lights are off, Mrs. Robertson will slip off her emeralds, pass them to me, and I'll hide them right here in this palm box. She'll announce the loss, you identify yourself as Jerry Browning, the famous detective, and instantly, without stalling, you find the emeralds. Wait a second. I put on a big grandstand about what a terrific guy I am, and then presto change how I find the stuff? Right. Wrong. I quit. I won't make a monkey of myself for $500 or $5,000. Hartwell reasoned with me, pleaded, and finally I agreed to a modification of his wacky plan. No grandstanding, and for me to find the jewels after a search of reasonable duration. We left it at that, and I mingled with the growing crowd. Almost before I knew it, it was midnight.
Supper is served.
People started to move into the next room. I caught a glimpse of the Robertsons with Hartwell standing near them. Then... right, quick pause. For a few seconds, there was a lot of milling around. Then the lights went on again. I looked at Mrs. Robertson again. Sure enough, her emeralds were gone.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Robertson's emeralds seem to have disappeared. However, we are fortunate to have present Jerry Browning, America's foremost detective. Mr. Browning, will you find Mrs. Robertson's missing emeralds?
I tried not to blush, said I'd be glad to look for the stuff. I asked people nearby a few perfunctory questions. Then, I suggest that everybody go in for supper, and I'll try to find the necklace, which I think is hidden in this room. When the last guest had left the room, I walked over to the potted palm and poked around a bit in it. then began to dig in earnest. It was also in vain, because Mrs. Robertson's emeralds were not there. I dashed into the supper room. Okay, who's got the necklace? And this time I'm not kidding about it. It took a couple of minutes for the Robertsons and Hartwell to realize that I meant what I was saying. And then Mrs. Robertson promptly fainted. I paid no attention to her. I'll still consider it a joke if whoever has the necklace will hand it over this second. Otherwise, everybody gets searched. Hartwell jumped up.
You can't search these people. There's a cream of society.
Cream of skim milk. They all get searched. And that includes you, Hartwell. That's when Robertson spoke up.
Mr. Browning, I'm sure there's been a mistake. I will personally vouch for all my guests, including Mr. Hartwell. If you cannot find the necklace where it has perhaps been dropped, then I'm willing to consider the matter closed and to relieve you of further responsibility.
Well, it was a nice gesture. And watching his face as he spoke, I was positive that he wasn't kidding. The necklace was really gone, and he meant to take the loss rather than embarrass his guests. I walked on back to the ballroom. Gazed at the palm I'd ruined. No use searching there anymore. I dug right down to the roots. My eyes wandered up to the musicians' platform where Don Jose, the band leader, was packing away some instruments. Hey, you all through playing for the night?
No, senor. Well, after supper, when people are full with the good food and wine, we play the slower music, so we do not need the maracas, yes?
Maybe yes, maybe no. I think I'd like to look at those maracas right now. Don Jose didn't want to part with his bean-filled goods. In fact, he was so anxious to keep me from looking at them that he tried to pull a blackjack on me. And when anybody does that, he's talking my language. Yep, the necklace was inside one of the maracas. Don Jose had overheard me talking with Hartwell and decided to acquire a nice necklace for himself, so he snatched it out of the palm box the moment Hartwell dropped it there. In court, he claimed it was a joke, and the judge was smiling when he handed down a 3-year sentence. As for Robertson, he got such a newspaper play for his big gesture in vouching for his guests that society took him and his wife right in. Maybe that's good. I wouldn't know. What I do know is, like I said, when you do tricks to be the life of the party, always make sure you're not being a party to crime. Listen next time to Calling All Detectives. Mystery drama, mystery quiz, and a chance for you to match wits with yours truly, Jerry Browning, Private Detective.
Murder at midnight.
It's not just an ordinary cane, my dear.
Alec.
It's a sword cane, see? Calhoun used it when he killed his wife, right where you're standing.
Alec, you killed Sanders.
Exactly.
And now you're going to kill me.
Yes.
No. Keep away from me.
Sorry.
Keep away. Help.
Midnight, the witching hour when the night is darkest, our fears the strongest, and our strength at its lowest ebb. Midnight, when the graves gape open and death strikes. How? You'll learn the answer in just a minute in The House Where Death Lived. And now, Murder at Midnight. Tales of mystery and terror by radio's masters of the macabre. Our story is a ghostly nightmare by one of radio's best-known mystery writers, Robert Newman. It's titled, The House Where Death Lived. A large rambling house on top of a hill. A house whose windows are either shuttered or broken.
A rusty iron fence surrounds it, and its grounds are waste and uncared for. A car grinds slowly up the hill, stops before the main gate, and two men get out. One of them is gray-haired but vigorous. The other wears a chauffeur's uniform. They push open the heavy gate, start up the gravel path.
Quite a joint.
You could hardly expect it to be a show place after being empty for more than 10 years.
It's open.
Yes. Well, I'm glad we didn't have to force it. All right, Sanders. You can go back to the car and wait for me. I should be out in about a half an hour or so.
You mean you're going in alone?
Why, yes. Somehow I don't think you're exactly suited by temperament for psychic research.
Okay, Doc. I'll be waiting for you back in the car.
Right. Now, let's see. I suppose the best place to start would be...
Good evening.
What? Oh, I'm awfully sorry. I hope I haven't made a mistake. This is the Calhoun house, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, this is very embarrassing. I was down to see the trustees just this morning. They gave me permission to go through the place and told me that there was no one living here, that no one had lived here for many years.
As you can see, that's not quite true. Not that it matters. I lead a rather lonely life, and I'm very glad you came. I'd be more than happy to show you around.
Well, you're very kind. My name is Goff, Dr. Alexander Goff.
Dr. Goff.
For the past few years, I've been specializing in psychic research.
Oh, yes.
You've heard of me?
I'm sorry, no. But I do know that scientists, specialists in psychical research, have been interested in the house for many years. There have been several books written about it.
I read about it in the series of studies that Kinsey did. He said it was one of the most fertile fields for manifestations he'd ever come across. It has a long history of apparitions and hauntings.
That's very true. And now, would you like to look around?
I'd like that very much.
Very well. I imagine the best place to begin is with the cellar. This way.
The cellar. That's where Mrs. Calhoun was killed, wasn't it?
Yes. I keep the door locked now for that and for several other reasons.
May I?
No, wait, don't try to go down. Have you a match?
Why, yes. There aren't any stairs.
Exactly. That's how Mrs. Calhoun was killed. The stairs had become rotten, and Calhoun took them out, put in that ladder. Mrs. Calhoun didn't know it. She tried to go down, fell, and broke her neck.
But she wasn't just killed. She was murdered, wasn't she?
Well, that's hard to say. I don't think even Calhoun could tell you whether it was deliberate or not. For a long time, people didn't even suspect what had happened. They thought that she'd run away, disappeared. However, after she was killed, Calhoun buried her down there in the cellar. You see, over there, near that big flagstone.
Oh, I see. Well, after that, there was something about a gardener, wasn't there?
Yes, Burroughs. He had helped Calhoun take out the stairs. Considerably later, he was working in the cellar and found some bones, and he put two and two together
and went to the police.
No, he did a lot better than that, from his own point of view. Shall we go back into the parlor?
Oh, yes, of course.
I'll just shut this door again. Yeah. Burroughs began blackmailing Calhoun. Calhoun paid for a while, and then one day he called Burroughs in here, into the parlor. He was sitting over there at that desk. He had his cane with him. The cane that's on the desk there now. You can look at it if you like.
Well, thank you. I would like to look at it.
Twist the handle and pull on it.
A sword cane?
Yes. He killed Burroughs right here in this room. That stain on the carpet, there's his blood. This time he didn't even try to get away with it. He called in the police, and he was tried and sent to an institution.
Yes, but that's what I don't understand. If Calhoun had committed 2 murders, why wasn't he sent to jail or hanged?
Because no one knew whether he was sane or not. As a matter of fact, I don't think Calhoun knew himself. You see, when they asked him why he had killed his wife and Burroughs, he said he had to, that he'd been told to.
Told to? By whom?
Well, he wasn't sure. By voices. He said they told him that they lived here in this house before him, that they had killed, and that he would have to kill too.
Excellent, excellent. Just what I've been looking for, what I've hoped for. A house with a tradition of hauntings, where each generation is affected by that tradition and adds to it. What's the matter?
They've come for me. They're weighing me down, dragging me back.
They? Who? Oh, you're ill. Here, let me help you.
No, it's no use. You can't pick me up. It's too much on my hands. On my head.
Where is he?
He was there, right there on the floor. I tried to pick him up and put him on the couch, but I couldn't lift him. Now he's gone.
Well, now, look, Doc, if he fell down, if he was as weak as you said it... Hey, wait a minute. Hey, what did he look like?
Well, he was quite old, about 70, and very tall and thin. He had white hair and a white goatee.
Holy smokes.
What's the matter?
Well, I was waiting outside for you. The guy that lives just down the hill came by, and we kind of talked a little.
Yes?
I told him you were inside here, and you described Calhoun to me, the guy that used to live here. And the old gent you say you spoke to sounds just like him.
But it couldn't have been. Calhoun is still in an institution.
No, he's not. At least not exactly. That's how this guy happened to talk about it. You see, he just read in the paper that Calhoun had died yesterday.
Sanders.
Yeah?
That was Calhoun's ghost.
Oh, now look,
It was, I tell you. It has to be. This is what I've been looking for years. An apparition that manifests itself without a medium or any apparatus. It's exactly what I need for the last chapter of my book. And I'm going to stay here until he appears again.
Calhoun? Calhoun? Where are you? Why don't you come back? I'm waiting for you.
Oh, it's no use. 2 days now and not a sign of him. Maybe Sanders was right. Maybe I did imagine the whole thing. Either that. Wait a minute. He didn't die here. He died at the asylum. He'd lived here all his life, committed 2 murders here. Perhaps the aura, the forces here, were strong enough to evoke him once, but not to bring him back again. His wife and the gardener, they did die here. If I could establish contact, I might be able to evoke them. Or else if someone else died here, someone I knew and someone that knew me. Calhoun! Is that right? Is that what I have to do? What? Who's there?
Hey, Doc. Sanders.
Oh, just a second.
Oh, what a night. Blowing like all get out.
What do you want, Sanders?
Well, the missus thought she's getting a little worried about you. Thought you might be running low on food.
Oh, no, I still have plenty. I haven't been eating much.
Any luck?
No, he hasn't materialized again, but I'm sure he will. I know he will.
If someone else died here,
Huh?
someone you knew, and someone that knew you.
Yeah.
What's the matter, Doc? And why are you staring at me that way? Doc!
I'm sorry, Sanders. Sanders, I was just thinking that if you stayed here with me, it might help.
But I thought you said I was all wrong for this kind of stuff. You know I don't believe in ghosts, anything like that.
I did say that, Sanders, but... Oh, this place is different. This is such a powerful, fertile field for psychic manifestations that I think if you did stay, we could cure your skepticism permanently.
Yeah? How?
Well, this is such a perfect night for an evocation.
I don't hear anything. Just a storm.
Listen hard. There it is again. It's down in the cellar.
Where's that?
It's back there.
Where?
Go ahead, run. You're quicker than I am, Sanders. Run, hurry.
Okay, but I still don't hear anything.
obsession in a haunted house. A man with a corpse in his hands as the clock strikes 12 for murder at midnight.
And now, to continue with our story.
It's just a moment later, and Dr. Goff is still standing by the open cellar door. Lighting a candle, he peers down to where Sanders' body lies huddled on the flagstones below.
Sanders? Sanders? I think I better make sure. Sure. This ladder holds. Well, now, let's see. He's dead, all right. Very dead. Neck broken in 2 places. I'm sorry, Sanders. Very sorry. But science is a hard mistress. I've been working on my book for 7 years. This is the first chance I've had to make detailed and objective observations on a specific set of phenomena. When Calhoun didn't materialize again, I'm sure you understand. The only problem now is the police. You have to be very uncompromising about something like this. There were only some way I could... I know. The car. It's quite late and with the storm blowing, there's not likely to be anyone around. Yeah, but... Oh, come on, Sanders. You and I are going to take a little trip. Now, we're almost there, Sanders. Just a little farther. Now, here we are. Now, let's see. You turned the car around before you came in, so it's headed downhill. Splendid. Very considerate. Now, open the door and put you in. Oh, up. Just make sure you don't fall sideways. Just stay behind the wheel. Yeah, that's it. Oh, is there anything else? Anything I've forgotten? I don't think so. Now, just take the brake off. And shut the door. And wait. There's no telling how far she'll go, especially with the streets so bumpy. I only hope that she'll go far enough to pick up plenty of speed, so that when she does, she's swinging to the right. Yeah. And now I wait.
Sanders? Sanders! Where are you? It's been 4 or 5 days now. Why haven't you come back? Haven't you wanted to? Or haven't you been able to find a way? This is where you died, remember? Down here in the cellar. Are you down there? Sanders? Are you down there? No. Not down there. Not anywhere. Say, yes? Oh, who's that? Who's there? What do you want, Jean?
I want to talk. Let me in, dear, please.
Just a second.
Alec. Oh, I'm so glad to see you, dear.
I asked you, what do you want? Why did you come here?
Why? It's been almost a week now since you've been home. Have you any idea how worried I've been? You didn't even phone me after Sanders was killed.
I'm sorry. I just never thought of phoning you. I had other things on my mind.
How did it happen, Alec?
You read the verdict of the inquest. You probably fell asleep at the wheel waiting for me. The brakes slipped, the car rolled down the hill, and crash.
Poor Sanders. Somehow I can't help feeling...
Feeling what?
I don't know. Perhaps it's this horrible old house. Everything about it. It's just plain evil. Oh, Alec, why don't you give it all up?
Give what up?
This obsession of yours. You started writing a book, doing psychical research to prove that there were no such things as apparitions or ghosts.
Suppose
now...
I found out that I was wrong.
What?
Yes, what would you say if I told you that I'd already seen one apparition here, and that I was expecting to see another one?
Alec. Oh, no.
Oh, yes, Gene. The first evening I came here, I saw Calhoun. I talked to him. He showed me around the house. And later on, I discovered that he had died the day before. I waited for him to come back again, but he never did. And I finally realized why. He couldn't come back because he hadn't died here. He had died at the sanitarium. But now, I'm waiting for Sanders to come back.
Sanders? But he didn't die here either. He died?
Yes, Jean.
I don't like it here, Alec. I'm afraid. I'm going.
No, Jean. Don't go. You can help me.
Huh?
Come on in here. Into the parlor.
But Alec.
Come on, Jean. Later I'll tell you a very interesting story about this room, about something that happened here a long time ago.
But All right, Alec.
That's a good girl. You know, Jean, I've just realized I've been very stupid. Calhoun couldn't come back again because he didn't die here. Sanders did die here, but he wasn't buried here. And now I'm beginning to think that a spirit can only materialize in the place where its body is.
But what's that got to do with me?
Dear, does anyone know that you came here tonight?
Why, no, but...
Good.
What do you mean? And what are you doing with that cane?
Remember I said I was going to tell you a story about something that had happened here in this room? Well, this cane played an important part in it. You see, it's not just an ordinary cane. This is a sword cane. It's what Calhoun used when he killed his wife, right where you're standing.
Alec, you killed Sanders.
Exactly.
And now you're going to kill me.
Yes, dear. I am going to kill you. And I'm going to bury you right here, down in the cellar where Calhoun buried his wife. Then at least you will be able to come back. No, don't try and run away. It won't do any good. You see, I locked the door.
No. Keep away from me.
I'm sorry.
Keep away.
My...
Help! No!
Now, smooth that gravel a little. Well, there. That ought to do it.
Very nice, Doctor. Very nice indeed. You didn't do quite as neat a job as I did, but you did.
Calhoun.
Yes, Doctor.
You're dead. But you did come back.
Yes, I came back to tell you how grateful I am to you.
Grateful? For what?
For having, shall we say, relieved me. You see, there's a curse on this house. When I was alive and lived here, even before I killed my wife in Burroughs, I saw the ghosts of those who had died before I was born. It was they who made me kill, because once I did kill, they were free.
I don't understand.
Don't you? As long as this house stands, someone must haunt it. Until I died, it was haunted by those whom I had killed. When I died, it became my job. I thought it would be years before I could find someone to take my place, and then you came along.
You mean
Yes, Doctor, yes, the curse, the evil that was spawned here has been passed on to you. Now it's haunted by those whom you killed, and I am free and can rest in peace. But you must stay here and live with the evil you created until you die.
No, I won't stay.
Yes, you will, Doctor. Oh, I didn't believe it either. I thought I could leave whenever I wanted to, but I found that I couldn't. I had to stay until they took me away. When you try to leave, you'll find out why.
But I won't stay. I tell you, I won't. Neither you nor they can make me stay. Nothing can make me stay. No. What's more, you're right about this place. It is evil. But I'm not going to let that evil continue. It must be destroyed, along with every stick and stone in this house.
And just how do you propose to do that?
I'll show you. With fire. This can of kerosene. That pile of lumber there.
It won't do any good. Take my word for it.
No, you watch. There. The whole cellar, the whole house will go now.
Yes, Doctor, but you won't go.
I won't. You watch me.
But you can't go without me, Doc.
What?
Don't you remember? You carried me out to the car. You've got to take me with you.
And,
Yes, Doctor, your chauffeur.
Let go of me, Sanders. Let go. I can't take you with me.
You've got to take me, too, Alec.
No. Let go. Both of you.
See, now you know why I couldn't go either. But dragged me back and weighed me down.
Please.
Now you know why you're going to have to stay here.
I won't stay. I tell you, I won't. Not even if I have to take both Sanders and Jean with me.
I'm afraid that won't do any good, Doctor. You see, the ladder isn't very strong.
Go. It broke. I'm trapped here.
Goodbye, Doctor. If you don't mind, I'll leave you now for good.
No! Somebody!
The flames grow higher and higher as Dr. Goff screams and staggers backward. Far away, a bell starts tolling for murder at midnight. Remember to be with us again when death stretches out his bony hand and the clocks strike 12 for murder at midnight. The part of Dr. Goff was played by Barry Crowther, with music by Charles Paul. Murder at Midnight was directed by Anton M. Leader.
This, I believe. Victor Andrade is the Bolivian ambassador to the United States. A lawyer, a teacher, and an army officer, he was elected to the Bolivian Parliament in 1940 and was Minister of Foreign Affairs and ambassador in 1944. A revolution overthrew his government, and while in exile, he taught at the New School for Social Research in New York. When an election returned his party to power, he again became ambassador. Here now are the personal beliefs of Ambassador Victor Andrade.
When my son Mario was at the age when youngsters are a fountain of questions, he began one of his inquisitorial series, this time on the nature of electricity. He asked, and I did my best to explain, why one notices no change in wires when they are connected to the outlet, where the electricity comes from, and then what is the source of energy. My answers in technical matters would never be distinguished by profundity, but I told him of dynamos transforming the energy of fuels or waterfalls into electricity, and of the unharnessed energy of our sun and the millions of suns in the universe. He finally asked, and where have these millions of stars obtained their energy? My son, for those of us who believe in God, it is He who is the fount of all life and all energy. That is precisely what distinguishes us from the materialists, who believe that the manifestations of life are limited by the phenomena which can be understood by the senses. I believe in the existence of the soul, part of a universal spirit, which transitorily animates the body, just as electricity in the wires you noticed. And just as the disconnecting of the wires from the fount of electricity did not indicate termination of energy itself, so death is not the end of life of the spirit, but the restitution to the very fount of life. In other words, I believe in the being who surpasses the limitations of its physical envelopment. Because of this, I believe in the existence of a moral order which comes from something more eternal than social conventions, customs, ambitions, and conveniences. That is the reason also for my belief in love, honesty, honor, goodness, and in human solidarity. I believe in these things and in justice because I believe in the Supreme Being. I believe that happiness is rooted in the soul and in the subjective appreciation of the state of mind. Therefore, it is false to seek that happiness in the satisfaction of appetite, ambitions, and sensual pleasures. I believe also that it is wrong to judge the conduct and historic process of nations through a materialistic analysis, just as I judge it to be false to measure human values by the influence which power and force give. I believe that the control over instincts and the absence of fear are much more indicative of human superiority than is the possession of physical power. I believe that the bonds between men who associate in order to live in a community go beyond the common economic interests which move them to defend their homes and possessions. I believe in the existence of ties based on religion, culture, and tradition. I believe that nations who have this faith are capable of enduring the sacrifices necessary in order to attain their ideals. I believe in the equality of men, in this life and beyond. Because of this, I am opposed to imperialism and to dictators. I do not believe that nations are chosen by God to redeem humanity nor directed in this or that way. I believe that the search for individual and collective perfection is a common task which no single individual nor any one nation can attain with prefabricated ideals or molds of conduct.
Those were the beliefs of Victor Andrade, Bolivian ambassador to the United States.
Night beat.
Hi, this is Randy Stone. I cover the night beat for the Chicago Star. Stories start many different ways. This one started, strangely enough, with the flame of a match, whose feeble glow lit up a lightened face in the darkness, a frightened face twisted by an agonizing fear of death.
Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone.
The night is a thief, some poet once wrote, that steals the colors from the day. It's kind of pretty if you like words, but for my dough, they're not exactly true. Because there are colors at night. The burning red of passion, the angry green of jealousy, and the ugly, terrifying black of fear. This was one of those nights when pickings was slim. I'd covered the town from Henry's bar in the Mart, out to Hyler's on the North Shore, and back downtown again with nothing to show for it. I was taking a shortcut through Lincoln Park to pick up my car. At that time of night, the park was pretty deserted, except for this girl walking up ahead of me. Not a bad silhouette, I might add, against the distant light. We were about halfway through the park when suddenly she stopped and threw herself onto a bench at the side of the path. There was something almost desperate about the way she did it. I ran up to her. Excuse me, are you all right?
Yes, I'm all right.
Well, I thought maybe you were sick or something.
I told you I'm all right. Will you please let me alone?
Oh, now look, lady, it's not what you think. Well, this park at this time of night, it's no place for a girl to sit around by herself.
I don't need any help. Just go away.
Oh, sure, I'll get lost. I can see you're all right. Only you don't mind if I just sit here and smoke a cigarette before I go.
It's a public park. I don't care what you do.
Thank you. You care for a cigarette?
No.
Of course, in order to really enjoy a smoke, you've got to have a match first. I said in order to enjoy a smoke, you've got
I heard you. Here.
Thank you. Here.
Keep the book.
No, you better hang on to these.
I won't need them.
Well, you might need them later tonight.
After tonight, I won't need anything.
Oh, now, wait a minute. That's no way to talk. The only time you're not going to need anything, sister, is after you're dead.
Why did you say that?
What?
That about being dead.
For no reason. Why?
Because after tonight, I will be.
The girl jumped up and started running. Here was a kid that was afraid. Afraid of death or afraid of life. But then, isn't everybody? I turned the matchbook over and looked at the ad on the cover. Penguin Club. A little all-night jump and jive place over on Clark Street. That's one I've been missing lately. On a hunch, I ambled up North Avenue in that general direction, turned up Clark a ways, and there it was. It was good to get inside out of that wind.
Check your hat and coat, mister?
No, thanks. I'm just looking around.
Can I get your table? It's almost the end of the floor show.
Now, anywhere in the back will be all right.
Okay.
The hat check girl, hostess, or whatever she was, walked me through the bar to the edge of the main room. And then I stopped and really did a take. Out in the middle of the dance floor, under a little baby spot, singing in front of a 5-piece band, was Little Miss Desperate from the park.
Nice voice, don't you think?
Yeah. Who is she?
Oh, that's Franny. Fran Fowler. Had you been in here before?
Not for quite a few months.
Of course, she hasn't got much experience yet.
From out of town,
Someplace over in Wisconsin. Not bad looking, huh?
In everything.
Hey, what's wrong with her?
Gee, I don't know.
I can't.
Well, how do you like that?
Come on, folks. Come on. Let's give the little girl a great big hand. Nothing like a real sad song to wind up a real sad act. Especially for a real sad tomato type tomato. No. It's all in fun. So let's dance now. Come on, you lucky guys and girls. Get out here. Move around. I figure you got some live one, huh?
Hello, Tommy. This is Tommy Mason. Ain't he the one?
Yes, he's quite the one, all right.
Gee, Tommy, you sure covered up for Franny, all right.
Never let down. Keep 'em going all the time. That's show business. You know how it is, mister.
Oh, yes, I've heard. The show must go on. It's a new thing.
You gotta keep 'em laughing.
Honest, mister, he's this way all the time. What a joker.
Look, about that girl.
Franny?
Yeah, Franny. What seems to be the trouble?
Well, that's hard to say, pal. Maybe she just found out she ain't no Dinah Shore. And she sure ain't.
Tommy, you killed me.
Seriously, fella. Fella, why would a girl break up that way in the middle of a number and start to cry?
Could be she got a cinder in her eye. But just to make sure, I'll go ask her.
See you later, Tommy. Come on, fella. How's about buying a girl a drink?
Oh, sure, in a minute. About this Franny.
Look, do we have to talk about her? I thought you came in here for some fun.
Maybe I get my fun wondering about people. What time's the next floor show?
Next one's at 2, then 4.
Oh, they're not kidding about this all-night business.
And so another one at daylight.
She's singing all of them?
How should I know? She missed most of the 12 o'clock show. Just got here for that last number.
Any idea where she lives?
The rooming house around on Erie Street.
No, the number?
391. You know, you ask an awful lot of questions.
Well, that's my business. I'm a reporter, Randy Stone.
I might have known it. Look, you're not going to bother her tonight, are you? Of all nights?
Tonight?
This is the night that Charlie Dana's being executed down at Joliet.
What's that got to do with her?
Well, how would you feel? Look, Mr. Stone, she's human. This is the night her boyfriend's going to die.
I went up to the front of the bar to a phone booth and called the paper. There was something about this in the back of my mind somewhere, something I ought to remember but couldn't. I had the girl on the board put me through to Gabby in the library. Oh, hello, Gabby. This is Randy.
Yeah, Randy?
What have you got on the Charlie Dana case?
Still a little early, Randy. Execution's not set until 1:30.
No, I mean old stuff.
Oh, I got the file right here, Randy. Dug it out earlier for background.
Good. Anything on a girl named Fran Fowler?
Yeah, let's see. Charlie Dana, small-time gambler, killed a guy named Donnelly.
Oh, yes. I remember that. A gambling beat.
Execution originally set for November, but he got a couple of months' stay. Oh, here she is, Fran Fowler. Singer in a nightclub. Was supposed to be his alibi, but the DA blew her up on the witness stand. She admitted she wasn't positive about when she'd been out with the guy.
Oh, yeah, that was it. I knew it was something. Anything more?
Oh, details, Randy, details.
Okay, Gabby, thanks. I'll catch up with you. Oh, Mason. Excuse me, were you waiting to use the phone?
No, I was waiting to talk to you.
Why, certainly, but this time, no jokes, if you don't mind. I'm expecting a headache.
You're not funny, Stone. Who are you talking to?
Well, isn't that kind of my business?
Peggy says you're a reporter.
Yes, of a sort.
You were asking about Fran, where she lived?
That's right.
You got to let her alone, see? You printed enough about her.
Just a minute, Mason. Those are my lapels that you're hanging on to.
Peggy shouldn't have given you Fran's address. I don't want you bothering her.
I said let go of my lapels, funny man, or something's liable to explode in your face. Now, you stay out of my way or I'll ruffle that shiny hair.
Where you going?
See about a cinder in the ladies' eye.
You're not going to see her. I won't let you. Can't you see this whole thing's driving her crazy?
Tommy, believe me, I'm not interested in harming her or anyone. I'm just a guy trying to do a job. Now, if you'll step out of my way...
You're not going there. I won't let you. I won't let
Sorry,
you.
but you asked for it. My, that's a real nervous fella. Now that he'd made such an issue out of it, going around to see Fran Fowler was a definite must on my schedule. I picked up my car and drove over to Erie Street. 391 wasn't much different from any of the rest of the rooming houses on the block. I got the number of her room from the mailbox and started down the dingy corridor to room 8. I knocked at the door, but there was no answer. I knocked again, and then I smelled gas. Hey, anyone in there? Miss Fowler! Fran! I put my shoulder to the door, and the flimsy lock snapped open. I rushed into the gas-filled room, holding my breath until I could smash open the window and let in some air. And then I saw Fran Fowler, the girl from the park, lying across the bed. And on the table beside her, one of those 2 burner gas stoves with both jets wide open. I turned them off and started shaking the girl. Miss Fowler, Franny, come on, get up. You got to get out of here.
Very long.
Look, am I going to have to carry you?
Put me down.
You little fool, this room is filled with gas.
My purse.
Where?
On the table.
Okay, I've got it.
Oh,
Fine thing with a gun in it.
give that to me.
Outside, baby, outside. It was 6 seconds flat when we hit the sidewalk in the fresh air. I put Fran on the front seat of my car and then ran around and climbed in behind the wheel. I headed out to Sheridan Road along the lake. The cool, clean air felt good in my lungs, and I could see Fran drinking it in, realizing now how close she'd been. I didn't make her talk until we were a long way out of town. Then I pulled over to the beach side of the road and killed my motor. We, seem to keep bumping into each other in the strangest places tonight.
I guess I should say thanks.
No, not at all. I'm the one who should say thanks. I still haven't returned your matches.
Please don't make fun of me.
No, I'm not. You see, I know now who you are.
Charlie Dana's girl. Why don't you say it?
In my book, you're just a kid I met in the park.
What time is it?
It's 1:45.
Then...
Yes, it's probably all over by now. Like me to turn on the radio?
No. No, I don't want to hear about it.
You must love him an awful lot.
Love him? I despise him.
But still you were willing to alibi for him on a murder charge?
I wasn't. I told him I wasn't sure of the time I was out with him, but he made me say it was the exact hour when the man was killed.
Didn't you realize you might have been perjuring yourself?
I didn't lie. I just didn't remember. It might have been like you said. When you're not sure, what else can you do?
Yeah. How'd you happen to get mixed up with him?
I didn't know anybody when I first came here. I was lonesome.
And he was nice to you.
He was. A lot more decent than most of the men who want to take you out when you're working in the club.
And why do you hate him now?
I didn't know what he did. A lot of people gamble. I didn't think too much about it. Then we got to going out evenings between shows at the club on my nights off.
And the killing happened when you and he were supposed to have been out someplace together?
That's what he said. He wasn't arrested until a few weeks after the trouble. I couldn't remember if I'd been with him during that particular time or not.
Well, it's all over now. You did what you had to. That's about all any of us can do. But you got to forget about it. Put it out of your mind. There's nothing more to worry about.
Oh, that's just it. You don't understand. There is.
What are you talking about?
He promised. He promised, and I know he'll keep his promise.
Promised what?
I want to see him in prison.
In the death house?
I had to. I wanted him to understand, but he said I tricked him.
What, by telling the truth on the witness stand?
He said I double-crossed him. But now he didn't care.
Why would he say that?
He said he didn't care because the night he died, I would die. And I'm afraid.
You are listening to Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone.
This was real. This was no act. The sound she made would tear you to pieces, like some pitifully frightened animal who'd lost everything in the world. I let her cry it out. After all those months of strain, she'd have to get it out of her system.
He said the night he died, I'd die.
Sure. So you were scared. Who wouldn't be? But don't you see, that's just a cruel boast made by a cheap hoodlum who's trying to hurt you, make you feel responsible for his own plight.
But he meant it, I know he did.
Well, maybe he did at the time, but you've got nothing to worry about now. You had nothing to do with it. He paid for his own crime. Now he's dead, and you're still alive.
He'll keep his promise.
How can he? He's dead.
I know you think I'm crazy.
No. But has anyone really tried to harm you?
Oh, but this wasn't the night he was supposed to...
Yes, I know. The execution was originally set for November.
It was that night in November. I hadn't been afraid before. I thought it was like you said, because it was bitter. But all that day I was upset. I told him at the club I couldn't work, and late in the afternoon I got a note from Peggy saying why didn't I go out to her cabin at the dunes for a couple of days. Nobody would bother me, no reporters, and I could get a good rest. So I drove out there that evening. It was quiet. Nothing around. Just empty sand dunes and her cabin all alone on the edge of the lake. I called Peggy at the club to let her know I got in all right.
Hello, Fran. Where are you calling from?
Why, from your place.
My apartment?
No, your cabin.
At the dunes?
It was swell of you, Peggy, to let me come out here.
Well, of course, Franny. You're welcome to use the place, but I don't quite know what you mean.
Well, your note this afternoon telling me to come out here.
I didn't write you any note.
Oh, come on, Peggy. You did. You even told me where the key would be, under the flower pot.
But, kid, that's where we always keep it. Everybody knows that.
Peggy, I...
Now, don't worry about it, kid. One of the girls probably sent you the note and just hasn't had a chance to tell me about it yet. I should have thought of it myself in the first place.
No, wait, Peggy. I'm scared.
Well, what in the world else?
Do you remember what I told you about what Charlie said the last time I saw him?
Prison?
It was about tonight that he said, when he died,
Franny, now cut it before you drive yourself
Peggy,
back.
I'm all alone and I'm scared. I don't know what to do.
Franny, you gotta hang up right away. You shouldn't be out there all alone tonight. Get in your car and come back to town as fast as you can. I'll wait for you here.
All right, Peggy. All right. the phone and ran out of the house to my car. I turned on the ignition key and stepped on the starter. It wouldn't start. My car wouldn't start. I looked at the gas gauge. Empty. Somebody had drained the gas out of my car. I got out in a panic and started toward the highway. But there was a car out there, parked behind a big sand dune. I turned and ran back to the house. It was like some crazy, frightening nightmare. I didn't know what I was doing, but somehow I managed to get inside and lock the door. And then suddenly I was at the telephone. Operator? Operator, answer me. Operator, you've got to answer. I want the police. Operator, please help me. Someone... Operator! It was no use. The line was dead. While I was outside, someone had pulled the wires away from the wall. Crawled over to the window. Looked out to the highway. There was a car out there. Its lights were on. But as I looked, they went out. And now, I was alone. In the dark. With him out there. I must have passed out. When I came to, it was morning, and Peggy was there. She and Tommy had driven out after the club closed to find me.
But you see, you didn't die that night.
But neither did he.
Could have been your imagination, you know, this man in the car.
No. The news about this day of execution was on the radio. The man in the car must have heard it and gone away.
Did you call the police?
They didn't believe it. Just because I'm a nightclub singer, they said I was trying to get publicity.
How about the car not starting and the telephone being dead?
According to them, my car was just out of gas, and I must have pulled the telephone wires off the wall myself.
In the panic you were in, you could have.
But I didn't. I tell you, I didn't.
All right. Anyway, it's tonight that we're concerned with.
I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do.
Well, if it's true, this fear you have, you've got to find it out tonight. If you don't, it'll haunt you the rest of your life.
Oh, I know, but how?
You've got to go back to your room.
Oh, no, I'm afraid.
I'll be with you. I still got your gun, remember? By the way, what were you going to do with that?
I didn't have the nerve to use it. Even on myself.
Well, if anything is going to happen, it'll happen tonight. Not tomorrow or any time after that, but tonight. We'll go back to your place now and wait. Until it's daylight. I drove Fran back to the rooming house on Erie Street. There were no lights on anywhere in the building. We tiptoed down the empty corridor to Fran's room, listened at the door a minute, and went in. The door closed all right, but it wouldn't lock. I must have sprung it when I forced the door. We settled down and waited. For what? Once I thought I heard steps on the sidewalk far out front. It was that still. And then I did hear steps, slowly coming down the hall.
There's someone in the hall.
Keep it down.
He stopped outside the door.
Don't move.
Who's that knocking at my door? Who's that knocking at my door? Who's that knocking at my door?
Okay. Go ahead, kid. Go ahead. You got it coming.
I'm sorry. I'm all right.
Nothing to be sorry about. I was kind of scared myself. It's the funny thing about fear. It's catching. Look out the window.
It's almost light.
And this all night has gone for good. You see? It was all in your mind. Things you were frightened of. It was nothing, really. You won't be afraid if I go now.
No. I've caused you an awful lot of trouble.
Oh, no, you cut that out or you'll get me going.
And the kids at the club, I guess I should go back there and let them know I'm all right.
What the doctor ordered for you was a little shut-eye. I'll stop by on my way and give them the word.
Good night.
Good night. Oh, here's your gun. You might want to pawn it for a couple of pair of nylons. Yes, a real nice tomato-type tomato, as the funny man at the club would say. On the way over, I got thinking about him and that girl, Peggy. Come to think of it, that was one point Fran had forgotten to clear up for me, about the note that sent her out to Peggy's cabin at the dunes that night. Yeah, my mind wouldn't let go of that. When I got to the club, it was daylight, and they were folding up the joint, and Peggy was sitting alone at the bar.
Well, you got a nerve coming back here after...
How's your boyfriend?
He's not my boyfriend.
It's a figure of speech. Where is he?
He just left.
Okay, I'll settle for you.
If you don't mind, it's a little late for small talk, mister.
Okay, I'll give it to you fast. It's about that note you wrote to Fran Fowler last November on the night Charlie Dana was supposed to die.
What note?
Little late for small talk, remember?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know anything about a note inviting Fran to stay out at your place at the dunes?
I told her. I didn't know who wrote it.
Or were you telling the truth?
Yes, I was.
Okay, maybe you were. But you found out later who wrote it, didn't you?
No,
Now tell me the truth. Or would you rather tell the police?
All right. I did find out, but it wasn't like you think.
Well, who was it?
Tommy Mason.
Tommy Mason, the funny man? His idea of a joke, no doubt. A hilarious joke that might have scared a poor kid to death.
No, you're wrong. It wasn't a joke.
Well, then why? Why did he do it?
Because he's in love with her. He made me swear I wouldn't tell her. He wanted to wait until the time when she needed him, and then he'd tell her himself.
Until she needed him? How was he going to make her need him? Use a condemned murderer's empty threat to frighten her out of her sanity so she'd need him? Is he crazy?
He is where Fran's concerned.
Where is he?
I don't know. He's been like a maniac all night since you left here. After every show, he's gone over to Fran's place looking for her. He's crazy jealous.
Jealous of who?
Of you. He thought she was with you.
Well, what if she were?
This was the night. He was sure she would need him, and instead she turned to you. Don't you see?
Yes, I do now. Thanks. It was only about a half mile to Fran's, but it seemed more like 20 miles until I turned off Clark up Erie Street and slammed into the curb. There was Owen on the street. I was hoping he'd walk, and I'd pass him on the way, but there was no one. I ran down the narrow hall, not daring to think what I'd find, and I flung open the door. Are you alone?
Well, you're frightened.
Are you alone?
Well, yes, I've been sitting here since you left. I'm too tired to undress.
Come on, let's get out of here. Grab your coat.
But
Never mind. I'll tell you on the way. I shoved Fran out the door, and we started cautiously back down the hall. We got about halfway when I grabbed her arm. The front door was opening slowly, and a man made a dark silhouette against the gray light of the dawn. It was the funny man. The man with the slick, shiny hair and the permanent smile and the fast jokes. Only the smile was gone, and he had a gun in his hand.
Keep coming. Keep coming.
We started towards him slowly.
Tommy, it was you? You who were going to kill me?
You didn't know. You didn't know that I had a heart, too, just like Charlie Dana did.
Tommy, you never told me.
You never let me. You didn't need me. You would have laughed at me like you laughed at my jokes.
It couldn't have been you at the dunes that night.
I followed you out there.
And then drove back to the club. No, Tommy, no.
You were lonesome, but you didn't need me. You needed Charlie Dana. I thought if you were afraid you'd need me. And then you were afraid, but still you didn't need me. But I'd make you need me. I'd make you.
Step by step, we moved closer.
Keep coming.
I could see his face twisted with jealousy and hate, his eyes wild, as though a spark might make him explode.
And tonight, when you were afraid and should have needed me, you didn't. You turned to him.
Tommy, please.
But now you need me. Now that I have my finger on this trigger, you need me more than you've ever needed anyone in your life. You need me. You need me, Franny. You need me. Say it. Say you need me. I can't shoot. I can't shoot.
He started to shake, and I ran forward. He grabbed his gun.
Look out.
Drop it. It's all right. I've got the gun.
Is he hurt?
Not to what he will be. Get up, funny man.
No. Don't be too hard on him. He didn't realize.
No, I guess maybe he didn't. It's funny, isn't it? You never really know what's going on in some of the best combed heads. Well, that's the way it goes. A little later than usual this morning. The day shift has already moved in and let the night crew wander off to their own private little beds. Well, at least I got to see the sun come up. And here I sit, still trying to make it all add up. But no matter how I figure it, the only answer I get is, you never know about people. But bless them, maybe that's why we love them. See that man walking towards you with a smile on his face? What's he smiling about? Or is it just so you won't notice how he's screaming inside? Ooh, the trouble with me is I haven't had my coffee yet. Copy, boy.
Night Beat, a dramatic series, stars Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone. Night Beat is edited by Larry Marcus and directed by Warren Lewis. Music by Frank Worth. The part of Fran was played by Joan Banks. Paul Dubov played Tommy. Others in the cast were Georgia Ellis, Ken Christie, and Carol Richards. Frank Lovejoy will next be seen in Milton Sperling's production Rock Bottom, released by Warner Brothers. Throughout the week, NBC brings you the best adventure mystery dramas on the air. You'll hear action-packed, fast-moving plots to hold your interest right up to the smashing climax on such thrilling programs as Big Town, Mr. District Attorney, The Big Story, and Dragnet, every week on most of these NBC stations. On Dragnet, you'll hear documented cases from the Los Angeles police files. The Big Story brings you true tales from the front pages of America's newspapers. Mr. District Attorney, the champion of the people, takes you through an exciting episode in the conviction of a criminal. And tomorrow night on Big Town, you'll hear crusading editor Steve Wilson crack down on the forces of evil. For the best high-tension dramas, hear NBC's great mystery and adventure programs. Listen next week at this same time and every week as Randy Stone searches through the city for the strange stories waiting for him in the darkness. The stories that come out of the shadows to find their way into Night Beat. Now, stay tuned for Brian Donlevy as a soldier of fortune on dangerous assignment on NBC.
This, I believe. Victor D. Zeminski is president of the Union News Company, one of the world's greatest distributors of newspapers and magazines. He is also extremely active in a number of civic, educational, and welfare organizations. These include the Police Athletic League, the New York Foundling Hospital, the Advisory Committee of Notre Dame's College of Commerce, and the Lavelle School for the Blind. This is the creed which lies behind Victor Zeminski's devoted service.
To believe in something is one thing, but trying to explain it is entirely different. Exposing my innermost thoughts calls for courage. The late Al Smith was author of a great saying, "Let's look at the record." Knowing Al Smith as I did, this saying had more than political significance. I refer to this because, as a youngster, I was taught that every act of my own would be a matter of permanent record. Every thought, word, and deed someday would have to be accounted for, and there would come a time when I passed on to my eternal judgment that the record of my life would be exposed and my future for eternity would be decided, based on the record and God's mercy. This is no sermon, and there is nothing new in what I say. But if I had not been given the benefit of this training, my personal record might have been different. I was brought up in the poor section of South Boston and mixed with kids that were good, bad, and very bad. This type of surroundings naturally is conducive to all kinds of temptations, but somehow or other I could never get my mind away from the teaching that I would be held accountable to my Maker. Concerned not only with the immediate future in life, but also with the hereafter, I always had in mind what the record would look like. I cannot help but refer again to Al Smith, because I had the privilege and good fortune of being in his company many times, and had the opportunity of watching his mental processes in making decisions. His approach was simple. He would decide the problem on the basis of right or wrong. There was no compromise. Yes, I do believe, more than ever as years go by, that the record of past performance stands out greater day by day. And if youth today could visualize this, more consideration would be given to the indelible record which would make them happier or haunt them in later years. As a father, the thing I consider most important to convey to my children is that their consciences will always be with them, and the sooner they put those consciences to work to decide the right and the wrong, the richer and happier will be their recollections in later life. If they can understand early enough the wisdom and importance in that remark of Al Smith, let's look at the record. Many of the disappointments and regrets which might trouble them in retrospect will be avoided. No one can look back and claim perfection, but if they learn in their youth and believe that someday the record is to be appraised, they will be more careful about what that record may reveal. On the basis of my own experience, I believe this should be impressed on youth from the age of reason on. Yes, I do believe there will be a final judgment where all the record will be examined to determine my eternal status.
They're the creed of Victor D. Zeminski, a businessman and public-spirited citizen who lives in Bronxville, New York.
Night Beat.
Hi, this is Randy Stone. I cover the night beat for the Chicago Star. Stories start in many different ways. This one started, strangely enough, with the flame of a match, whose feeble glow lit up a lightened face in the darkness, a frightened face twisted by an agonizing fear of death.
Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone.
The night is a thief, some poet once wrote, that steals the colors from the day. It's kind of pretty if you like words, but for my dough, they're not exactly true. Because there are colors at night. The burning red of passion, the angry green of jealousy, and the ugly, terrifying black of fear. This was one of those nights when pickings were slim. I'd cover the town from Henry's bar in the Mart, out to Hyler's on the North Shore, and back downtown again with nothing to show for it. I was taking a shortcut through Lincoln Park to pick up my car. At that time of night, the park was pretty deserted, except for this girl walking up ahead of me. Not a bad silhouette, I might add, against the distant light. We were about halfway through the park when suddenly she stopped and threw herself onto a bench at the side of the path. There was something almost desperate about the way she did it. I ran up to her. Excuse me, are you all right?
Yes, I'm all right.
Well, I thought maybe you were sick or something.
I told you I'm all right. Will you please let me alone?
Oh, now look, lady, it's not what you think. Well, this park at this time of night, it's no place for a girl to sit around by herself.
I don't need any help. Just go away.
Oh, sure, I'll get lost. I can see you're all right. Only you don't mind if I just sit here and smoke a cigarette before I go.
It's a public park. I don't care what you do.
Thank you. You care for a cigarette?
No.
Of course, in order to really enjoy a smoke, you've got to have a match first. I said in order to enjoy a smoke, you've got
I heard you. Here.
Thank you. Here.
Keep the book.
No, you better hang on to these.
I won't need them.
Well, you might need them later tonight.
After tonight, I won't need anything.
Oh, now, wait a minute. That's no way to talk. The only time you're not going to need anything, sister, is after you're dead.
Why did you say that?
What?
That about being dead.
For no reason. Why?
Because after tonight, I will be.
The girl jumped up and started running. Here was a kid that was afraid. Afraid of death or afraid of life. But then isn't everybody. I turned the matchbook over and looked at the ad on the cover. Penguin Club. A little all-night jump and jive place over on Clark Street. That's one I've been missing lately. On a hunch, I ambled up North Avenue in that general direction, turned up Clark a ways, and there it was. It was good to get inside out of that wind.
Check your hat and coat, mister?
No, thanks. I'm just looking around.
And get your table? It's almost the end of the floor show.
Now, anywhere in the back will be all right.
Okay.
The hat check girl, hostess, or whatever she was, walked me through the bar to the edge of the main room. And then I stopped and really did a take. Out in the middle of the dance floor, under a little baby spot, singing in front of a 5-piece band, was Little Miss Desperate from the park.
Nice voice, don't you think?
Yeah. Who is she?
Oh, that's Franny. Fran Fowler. Haven't you been in here before?
Not for quite a few months.
Of course, she hasn't got much experience yet.
From out of town,
Someplace over in Wisconsin. Not bad looking, huh?
In everything.
Hey, what's wrong with her?
Gee, I don't know.
I can't.
Well, how do you like that?
Come on, folks. Come on. Let's give the little girl a great big hand. Nothing like a real sad song to wind up a real sad act. Especially for a real sad tomato type tomato. No. It's all in fun. So let's dance now. Come on, you lucky guys and girls. Get out here. Move around. I figure you got silver live one, huh?
Hello, Tommy. This is Tommy Mason. Ain't he the one?
Yes, he's quite the one, all right.
Gee, Tommy, you sure covered up for Franny, all right.
Never let down. Keep 'em going all the time. That's show business. You know how it is, mister.
Oh, yes, I've heard. The show must go on. It's a new thing.
You gotta keep 'em laughing.
Honest, mister, he's this way all the time. What a joker.
Look, about that girl.
Franny?
Yeah, Franny. What seems to be the trouble?
Well, that's hard to say, pal. Maybe she just found out she ain't no Dinah Shore. And she sure ain't.
Tommy, you killed me.
Seriously, fella. Fella, why would a girl break up that way in the middle of her number and start to cry?
Could be she got a cinder in her eye. But just to make sure, I'll go ask her.
See you later, Tommy. Come on, fella. How's about buying a girl a drink?
Oh, sure, in a minute. About this Franny.
Look, do we have to talk about her? I thought you came in here for some fun.
Maybe I get my fun wondering about people. What time's the next floor show?
Next one's at 2, then 4.
Oh, they're not kidding about this all-night business.
And so another one at daylight.
She's singing all of them?
How should I know? She missed most of the 12 o'clock show. Just got here for that last number.
Any idea where she lives?
The rooming house around on Erie Street.
No, the number?
391. You know you ask an awful lot of questions.
Well, that's my business. I'm a reporter, Randy Stone.
I might have known it. Look, you're not going to bother her tonight, are you? Of all nights?
Tonight?
This is the night that Charlie Dana's being executed down at Joliet.
What's that got to do with her?
Well, how would you feel? Look, Mr. Stone, she's human. This is the night her boyfriend's going to die.
up to the front of the bar to a phone booth and called the paper. There was something about this in the back of my mind somewhere, something I ought to remember but couldn't. I had the girl on the board put me through to Gabby in the library. Oh, hello, Gabby. This is Randy.
Yeah, Randy?
What have you got on the Charlie Dana case?
Still a little early, Randy. Execution's not set until 1:30.
No, I mean old stuff.
Oh, I got the file right here, Randy. Dug it out earlier for background.
Good. Anything on a girl named Fran Fowler?
Yeah, let's see. Charlie Dana, small-time gambler, killed a guy named Donnelly.
Oh, yes. I remember that. A gambling beat.
Execution originally set for November, but he got a couple of months stay. Oh, here she is, Fran Fowler. Singer in a nightclub. Was supposed to be his alibi, but the DA blew her up on the witness stand. She admitted she wasn't positive about when she'd been out with the guy.
Oh, yeah, that was it. I knew it was something. Anything more?
Oh, details, Randy, details.
Okay, Gabby, thanks. I'll catch up with you. Oh, Mason. Excuse me, were you waiting to use the phone?
No, I was waiting to talk to you.
Why, certainly, but this time, no jokes, if you don't mind. I'm expecting a headache.
You're not funny, Stone. Who are you talking to?
Well, isn't that kind of my business?
Peggy says you're a reporter.
Yes, of a sort.
You were asking about Fran, where she lived?
That's right.
You got to let her alone, see? You printed enough about her.
Just a minute, Mason. Those are my lapels that you're hanging on to.
Peggy shouldn't have given you Fran's address. I don't want you bothering her.
I said let go of my lapels, funny man, or something's liable to explode in your face. Now, you stay out of my way or I'll ruffle that shiny hair.
Where you going?
See about a cinder in the lady's eye.
You're not going to see her. I won't let you. Can't you see this whole thing's driving her crazy?
Tommy, believe me, I'm not interested in harming her or anyone. I'm just a guy trying to do a job. Now, if you'll step out of my way...
You're not going there. I won't let you. I won't let
Charlie,
you.
but you asked for it. My, that's a real nervous fella. Now that he'd made such an issue out of it, going around to see Fran Fowler was a definite must on my schedule. I picked up my car and drove over to Erie Street. 391 wasn't much different from any of the rest of the rooming houses on the block. I got the number of her room from the mailbox and started down the dingy corridor to room 8. I knocked at the door, but there was no answer. I knocked again, and then I smelled gas. Hey, anyone in there? Miss Fowler! Fran! I put my shoulder to the door, and the flimsy lock snapped open. I rushed into the gas-filled room, holding my breath until I could smash open the window and let in some air. And then I saw Fran Fowler, the girl from the park, lying across the bed. And on the table beside her, one of those 2 burner gas stoves with both jets wide open. I turned them off and started shaking the girl. Miss Fowler, Franny, come on, get up. You got to get out of here. Look, am I going to have to carry you?
Put me down.
You little fool, this room is filled with gas.
My purse.
Where?
On the table.
Okay, I've got it.
Oh.
Fine thing with a gun in it.
Give that to me.
Outside, baby, outside. It was 6 seconds flat when we hit the sidewalk in the fresh air. I put Fran in the front seat of my car and then ran around and climbed in behind the wheel. I headed out to Sheridan Road along the lake. The cool, clean air felt good in my lungs, and I could see Fran drinking it in, realizing now how close she'd been. I didn't make her talk until we were a long way out of town. Then I pulled over to the beach side of the road and killed my motor. We, seem to keep bumping into each other in the strangest places tonight.
I guess I should say thanks.
No, not at all. I'm the one who should say thanks. I still haven't returned your matches.
Please don't make fun of me.
No, I'm not. You see, I know now who you are.
Charlie Dana's girl. Why don't you say it?
In my book, you're just a kid I met in the park.
What time is it?
It's 1:45.
Then...
Yes, it's probably all over by now. Like me to turn on the radio?
No. No, I don't want to hear about it.
You must love him an awful lot.
Love him? I despise him.
But still you were willing to alibi for him on a murder charge?
I wasn't. I told him I wasn't sure of the time I was out with him, but he made me say it was the exact hour when the man was killed.
Didn't you realize you might have been perjuring yourself?
I didn't lie. I just didn't remember. It might have been like he said. When you're not sure, what else can you do?
Yeah. How'd you happen to get mixed up with him?
I didn't know anybody when I first came here. I was lonesome.
And he was nice to you.
He was. A lot more decent than most of the men who want to take you out when you're working in a club.
Then why do you hate him now?
I didn't know what he did. A lot of people gamble. I didn't think too much about it. Then we got to going out evenings between shows at the club on my nights off.
And the killing happened when you and he were supposed to have been out someplace together?
That's what he said. He wasn't arrested until a few weeks after the trouble. I couldn't remember if I'd been with him during that particular time or not.
Well, it's all over now. You did what you had to. That's about all any of us can do. But you got to forget about it. Put it out of your mind. There's nothing more to worry about.
Oh, that's just it. You don't understand. There is.
What are you talking about?
He promised. He promised, and I know he'll keep his promise.
Promised what?
I want to see him in prison.
In the death house?
I had to. I wanted him to understand, but he said I tricked him.
What, by telling the truth on the witness stand?
He said I double-crossed him. But now he didn't care.
Why would he say that?
He said he didn't care because the night he died, I would die. And I'm afraid.
You are listening to Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone.
This was real. This was no act. The sound she made would tear you to pieces, like some pitifully frightened animal who'd lost everything in the world. I let her cry it out. After all those months of strain, she'd have to get it out of her system.
He said the night he died, I'd die.
Sure. So you were scared. Who wouldn't be? But don't you see, that's just a cruel boast made by a cheap hoodlum who's trying to hurt you, make you feel responsible for his own plight.
But he meant it. I know he did.
Well, maybe he did at the time, but you've got nothing to worry about now. You had nothing to do with it. He paid for his own crime. Now he's dead, and you're still alive.
He'll keep his promise.
How can he? He's dead.
I know you think I'm crazy.
No. But has anyone really tried to harm you?
Oh, but this wasn't the night he was supposed to.
Yes, I know. The execution was originally set for November.
It was that night in November. I hadn't been afraid before. I thought it was like you said, because it was bitter. But all that day I was upset. I told him at the club I couldn't work, and late in the afternoon I got a note from Peggy saying why didn't I go out to her cabin at the dunes for a couple of days. Nobody would bother me, no reporters, and I could get a good rest. So I drove out there that evening. It was quiet. Nothing around. Just empty sand dunes and her cabin all alone on the edge of the lake. I called Peggy at the club to let her know I got in all right.
Hello, Fran. Where are you calling from?
Why, from your place.
My apartment?
No, your cabin.
At the dunes?
It was swell of you, Peggy, to let me come out here.
Well, of course, Franny. You're welcome to use the place, but I don't quite know what you mean.
Well, your note this afternoon telling me to come out here.
I didn't write you any note.
Oh, come on, Peggy. You did. You even told me where the key would be, under the flower pot.
But, kid, that's where we always keep it. Everybody knows that.
Peggy, I...
Now, don't worry about it, kid. One of the girls probably sent you the note and just hasn't had a chance to tell me about it yet. I should have thought of it myself in the first place.
No, wait, Peggy. I'm scared.
Well, what in the world else?
Do you remember what I told you about what Charlie said the last time I saw him?
Prison?
It was about tonight that he said, when he died,
Franny, now cut it before you drive yourself
Peggy,
back.
I'm all alone and I'm scared. I don't know what to do.
Franny, you gotta hang up right away. You shouldn't be out there all alone tonight. Get in your car and come back to town as fast as you can. I'll wait for you here.
All right, Peggy. All right. I hung up the phone and ran out of the house to my car. I turned on the ignition key and stepped on the starter. It wouldn't start. My car wouldn't start. I looked at the gas gauge. Empty. Somebody had drained the gas out of my car. I got out in a panic and started toward the highway. But there was a car out there, parked behind a big sand dune. I turned and ran back to the house. It was like some crazy, frightening nightmare. I didn't know what I was doing, but somehow I managed to get inside and lock the door. And then suddenly I was at the telephone. Operator? Operator, answer me. Operator, you've got to answer. I want the police. Operator, please help me. Someone... Operator! It was no use. The line was dead. While I was outside, someone had pulled the wires away from the wall. Crawled over to the window. Looked out to the highway. There was a car out there. Its lights were on. But as I looked, they went out. And now, I was alone. In the dark. With him out there. I must have passed out. When I came to, it was morning, and Peggy was there. She and Tommy had driven out after the club closed to find me.
But you see, you didn't die that night.
But neither did he.
Could have been your imagination, this man in the car.
No. The news about this day of execution was on the radio. The man in the car must have heard it and gone away.
Did you call the police?
They didn't believe it. Just because I'm a nightclub singer, they said I was trying to get publicity.
How about the car not starting and the telephone being dead?
According to them, my car was just out of gas, and I must have pulled the telephone wires off the wall myself.
In the panic you were in, you could have.
But I didn't. I tell you, I didn't.
All right. Anyway, it's tonight that we're concerned with.
I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do.
Well, if it's true, this fear you have, you've got to find it out tonight. If you don't, it'll haunt you the rest of your life.
Oh, I know, but how?
You've got to go back to your room.
Oh, no, I'm afraid.
I'll be with you. I still got your gun, remember? By the way, what were you going to do with it?
I didn't have the nerve to use it. Even on myself.
Well, if anything is going to happen, it'll happen tonight. Not tomorrow or any time after that, but tonight. We'll go back to your place now and wait. Until it's daylight. I drove Fran back to the rooming house on Erie Street. There were no lights on anywhere in the building. We tiptoed down the empty corridor to Fran's room, listened at the door a minute, and went in. The door closed all right, but it wouldn't lock. I must have sprung it when I forced the door. We settled down and waited. For what? Once I thought I heard steps on the sidewalk far out front. It was that still. And then I did hear steps, slowly coming down the hall.
There's someone in the hall.
Keep it down.
He stopped outside the door.
Don't move.
Who's that knocking at my door? Who's that knocking at my door? Who's that knocking at my place?
Okay. Go ahead, kid. Go ahead. You got it coming.
I'm sorry. I'm all right.
Nothing to be sorry about. I was kind of scared myself. It's the funny thing about fear. It's catching. Look out the window.
It's almost light.
And this all night has gone for good. You see? It was all in your mind. Things you were frightened of. It was nothing, really. You won't be afraid if I go now.
No. I've caused you an awful lot of trouble.
Oh, no, you cut the howdy. You'll get me going.
And the kids at the club, I guess I should go back there and let them know I'm all right.
What the doctor ordered for you was a little shut-eye. I'll stop by on my way and give them the word.
Good night.
Good night. Oh, here's your gun. You might want to pawn it for a couple of pair of nylons. Yes, a real nice tomato-type tomato, as the funny man at the club would say. On the way over, I got thinking about him and that girl, Peggy. Come to think of it, that was one point Fran had forgotten to clear up for me about the note that sent her out to Peggy's cabin at the dunes that night. Yeah, my mind wouldn't let go of that. When I got to the club, it was daylight, and they were folding up the joint, and Peggy was sitting alone at the bar.
Well, You got a nerve coming back here after...
How's your boyfriend?
He's not my boyfriend.
It's a figure of speech. Where is he?
He just left.
Okay, I'll settle for you.
If you don't mind, it's a little late for small talk, mister.
Okay, I'll give it to you fast. It's about that note you wrote to Fran Fowler last November on the night Charlie Dana was supposed to die.
What note?
A little late for small talk, remember?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know anything about a note inviting Fran to stay out at your place at the dunes?
I told her. I didn't know who wrote it.
Were you telling the truth?
Yes, I was.
Okay, maybe you were. But you found out later who wrote it, didn't you?
No,
Now tell me the truth. Or would you rather tell the police?
All right. I did find out, but it wasn't like you think.
Well, who was it?
Tommy Mason.
Tommy Mason, the funny man? His idea of a joke, no doubt. A hilarious joke that might have scared a poor kid to death.
No, you're wrong. It wasn't a joke.
Well, then why? Why did he do it?
Because he's in love with her. He made me swear I wouldn't tell her. He wanted to wait until the time when she needed him, and then he'd tell her himself.
Until she needed him? How was he going to make her need him? Use a condemned murderer's empty threat to frighten her out of her sanity so she'd need him? Is he crazy?
He is where Fran's concerned.
Where is he?
I don't know. He's been like a maniac all night since you left here. After every show, he's gone over to Fran's place looking for her. He's crazy jealous.
Jealous of whom?
Of you. He thought she was with you.
What if she were?
This was the night. He was sure she would need him, and instead she turned to you. Don't you see?
Yes, I do now. Thanks. It was only about a half mile to Fran's, but it seemed more like 20 miles until I turned off Clark up Erie Street and slammed into the curb. There was Owen on the street. I was hoping he'd walk, and I'd pass him on the way, but there was no one. I ran down the narrow hall, not daring to think what I'd find, and I flung open the door. Are you alone?
Well, you frightened me.
Are you alone?
Well, yes, I've been sitting here since you left. I'm too tired to undress.
Come on, let's get out of here. Grab your coat.
But
Never mind. I'll tell you on the way. I shoved Fran out the door, and we started cautiously back down the hall. We got about halfway when I grabbed her arm. The front door was opening slowly, and a man made a dark silhouette against the gray light of the dawn. It was the funny man. The man with the slick, shiny hair and the permanent smile and the fast jokes. Only the smile was gone, and he had a gun in his hand.
Keep coming. Keep coming.
We started towards him slowly.
Tommy, it was you? You who were going to kill me?
You didn't know. You didn't know that I had a heart, too, just like Charlie Dana did.
Tommy, you never told me.
You never let me. You didn't need me. You would have laughed at me like you laughed at my jokes.
It couldn't have been you at the dunes that night.
I followed you out there.
And then drove back to the club. No, Tommy, no.
You were lonesome, but you didn't need me. You needed Charlie Dana. I thought if you were afraid you'd need me. And then you were afraid, but still you didn't need me. But I'd make you need me. I'd make you.
Step by step, we moved closer.
Keep coming.
I could see his face twisted with jealousy and hate, his eyes wild, as though a spark might make him explode.
And tonight, when you were afraid and should have needed me, you didn't. You turned to him.
Tommy, please.
But now you need me. Now that I have my finger on this trigger, you need me more than you've ever needed anyone in your life. You need me. You need me, Franny. You need me. Say it. Say you need me. I can't shoot. I can't shoot.
He started to shake, and I ran forward and grabbed his gun.
Look out.
Drop it. It's all right. I've got the gun.
I can't.
Is he hurt?
Not to what he will be. Get up, funny man.
No. Don't be too hard on him. He didn't realize.
No. I guess maybe he didn't. It's funny, isn't it? You never really know what's going on in some of the best combed heads. Well, that's the way it goes. A little later than usual this morning. The day shift has already moved in and let the night crew wander off to their own private little beds. Well, at least I got to see the sun come up. And here I sit, still trying to make it all add up. But no matter how I figure it, the only answer I get is, you never know about people. But bless them, maybe that's why we love them. See that man walking towards you with a smile on his face? What's he smiling about? Or is it just so you won't notice how he's screaming inside? Ooh, the trouble with me is I haven't had my coffee yet. Copy, boy.
Night Beat, a dramatic series, stars Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone. Night Beat is edited by Larry Marcus and directed by Warren Lewis. Music by Frank Worth. The part of Fran was played by Joan Banks. Paul Dubov played Tommy. Others in the cast were Georgia Ellis, Ken Christie, and Carol Richards. Frank Lovejoy will next be seen in Milton Sperling's production Rock Bottom, released by Warner Brothers. Throughout the week, NBC brings you the best adventure mystery dramas on the air. You'll hear action-packed, fast-moving plots to hold your interest right up to the smashing climax on such thrilling programs as Big Town, Mr. District Attorney, The Big Story, and Dragnet, every week on most of these NBC stations. On Dragnet, you'll hear documented cases from the Los Angeles police files. The Big Story brings you true tales from the front pages of America's newspapers. Mr. District Attorney, the champion of the people, takes you through an exciting episode in the conviction of a criminal. And tomorrow night on Big Town, you'll hear crusading editor Steve Wilson crack down on the forces of evil. For the best high-tension dramas, hear NBC's great mystery and adventure programs. Listen next week at this same time and every week as Randy Stone searches through the city for the strange stories waiting for him in the darkness. The stories that come out of the shadows to find their way into Night Beat. Now, stay tuned for Brian Donlevy as a soldier of fortune on Dangerous Assignment on NBC.
This I believe. Lady Violet Bonham Carter is the daughter of the famous Liberal Prime Minister of England, Herbert Henry Asquith. She emerged as a politician when she figured importantly in the success of her father's comeback into politics. A persistent member of the Liberal Party, she is now its vice president. Here is Lady Violet.
Well, first and foremost, I believe in life. It's not only that I feel a passionate joy in living, but I have faith in life. I have no dogmatic certainties which tell me where I came from, or where I'm going to, or why. But like a stream which doesn't know the source from which it sprang, or the sea to which it flows, I trust the current in my being. And I believe if I am true to it, I shall not lose my way. And though I cannot chart the pattern of my course, nor guess its purpose, yet I'm sure beyond a doubt that both exist. The greatest single influence in my life has been my father. He opened to my eyes a wide horizon, and through him I learned the meaning of the words greatness and goodness. He was an active politician, for 8 years Prime Minister, and thus I felt from earliest childhood the impact of vast impersonal events in an intimately personal way. I can never remember being unconscious of what was happening in the world, and I accepted as a matter of course that it was our business, that of every one of us, to do something about it. I believed that the lives and fate of human beings I had never seen or known were as real, as actual as our own, that they mattered and that they were our concern. My life has been a crowded one, thronged with all sorts and conditions of men and women, the great, the humble, the famous, the obscure, the dazzling and the dull. I'm thankful to have known them all, and to have been close to many. I've found in human beings my greatest adventures and my deepest happiness. And I've learnt that through love we have the power to create and recreate each other. Above all, I believe in the absolute value of truth. Each one of us may reach it by a different path. Some find it in religion, some it is revealed in poetry, that shortcut to the soul of things. Some find it in the natural beauty of the world, some in their children. Each one of us has his own private revelation, which is incommunicable, and which is yet the surest thing we know. And lastly, I believe in courage. No generation has ever stood in greater need of it than ours does. Dickens once said, "Life is given to us on the understanding that we defend it to the last." It's not our lives alone we must defend today, but every value that to us makes life worth living. But just because it is a time of earthquake, of convulsion, of great possibilities, both for evil and for good, I believe that it is also a time of greatest opportunity for those who are not afraid to look the present in the face and yet have faith in themselves and in the future. As it was said by Pericles, surely the bravest are those who have the clearest vision of what is before them, glory and danger alike, and who yet, notwithstanding, go out to meet it. Courage means honest thought and a refusal ever to despair.
That was Lady Violet Bonham Carter of England. At 65, she is a brilliant and formidable figure whose shattering wit plays havoc with her political opponents.
The makers of Camel Cigarettes present Dick Powell as Richard Diamond, Private Detective. What's America's most popular cigarette? Camel. Buy billions of cigarettes per year. Two of the important reasons why Camel is so popular are flavor and mildness. Camel's choice tobaccos are properly aged and skillfully blended to give you a smoke that's rich in flavor. And mildness? Here's conclusive proof. In a coast-to-coast test, hundreds of men and women smoked only Camels for 30 days. Leading throat specialists made careful weekly examinations of the throats of those smokers and reported not one single case of throat irritation due to smoking Camels. Here's a suggestion. Make your own Camel 30-day test. Smoke only Camels for the next 30 days. You'll enjoy Camel's rich, full flavor, and your throat will tell you how mild Camels are.
How mild, how mild, how mild, how mild can a cigarette be? Make the Camel 30-day test and you'll see. Smoke Camels and see.
Here transcribed is Richard Diamond, Private Detective, starring Dick Powell.
Diamond Detective Agency, we deal in crime, but we're closed now. It's Christmas time. Hello there, this is Diamond. Every year about this time, my business takes a big nosedive. People usually pack up their troubles and start unpacking colored lights and Christmas tree ornaments. So tonight I'm going to tell you my favorite Christmas story, one I always like to tell. A Christmas Carol by Mr. Charles Dickens. Now, I'd better explain something first. This version isn't exactly the way you've always heard it. Because of the particular type of characters I usually get mixed up with, this story is written to fit their talents and characteristics. Different from the Dickens original, certainly, but we feel that this story could easily happen today, anywhere. Like right here in New York on a little side street just off the Bowery. So now I'd like to introduce our characters. Mr. Ebenezer Scrooge will be played by my good friend and guiding hand of the 5th Precinct Homicide Division.
Lieutenant Walter Levinson.
Walter.
Otis.
The character of Jacob Marley will be played by one of Lieutenant Levinson's most trusted henchmen.
Otis, that's you.
Huh? Oh, Sergeant Otis Loveloon.
Loveloon. Oh.
Walt.
Oh, sorry, Alan.
Tiny Tim will be played by our corner newsboy.
Hi, I'm Johnny Rollins.
Tiny Tim's mother will be played by my red-headed gal friend,
Helen Asher.
The rest of the characters will be played by members of the 5th Precinct Police Station.
Officer O'Reilly.
Officer Leskowitz.
Sergeant Miller.
The music will be furnished by the 5th Precinct Police Band, directed by Patrolman Worth.
Hi.
And now, our version of the Christmas classic, Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. Once upon a time, there was a nasty old guy named Ebenezer Scrooge. He was nasty, all right. He didn't like anything, except maybe all the dough he could get his hands on. Scrooge had a little business that he started with his partner, Jacob Marley. The outfit was known as Scrooge and Marley Loan Company. But one day, poor old Marley just up and keeled over. So the boys along the big street gave him a nice funeral, and old man Scrooge took over the business. Well, Marley had been dead for 7 years, and Scrooge lived alone in his little room over the office, and for a hobby, he hated everybody. He had a young guy working for him named Bob Cratchit. Bob had a wife and 4 kids and made just enough to make ends meet. Scrooge used to ride him all the time. When he got so cold the polar bears complained, Cratchit would turn on the little heater, and Scrooge would say,
Cratchit, what do you think you're doing?
Turning on the heat, that's what I'm doing. My fingers look like popsicles.
I don't care if they come in 6 delicious flavors. Every time you turn on that heater, it costs me money. Business is not good, so get back to your work. And turn off the heat.
Oh, now look, Mr. Scrooge, I'm freezing. This pen ain't guaranteed to ride under ice.
I'm telling you once more, get back to your work.
Okay, but I don't know why you worry about business. Why not just put up a sign and turn the joint into a skating rink? Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
Oh, swell. Merry Christmas. Ah, humbug.
Humbug?
Yes, humbug. My old man didn't like Christmas, and that's what he used to say. Humbug.
Okay, humbug. It's still Christmas, and I don't see where you get off not liking it. This is supposed to be the time everybody gets with it. Everything stops. It ain't much good, and you put your arm around the next guy and you tell him Merry Christmas.
I'm going to put my arm around you with a hammer on the end of it if you don't lay off this goodwill stuff.
Look, what's with you? What have you got against Christmas?
You showed me a way to make $100 every Christmas, and I'll fall in love with it. You want me to be merry?
Well, sure.
Then go get some of those joyous clients of mine to pay off their loans. Merry Christmas. Humbug!
Okay, then, humbug. But it's still cold in here. Have some icicles, but give them back after the holidays. They're my fingers.
Late that evening, Scrooge went upstairs to his room, the room where Jacob Marley used to stay. It was dark in the little hall, and when Scrooge reached for the door, he looked up at the big brass knocker and saw...
Holy cow. Could have sworn that was old Jake's face in the knocker. I must be working too hard.
So, in he went. A little shaky after seeing Jake Marley's face, but he just passed it off his nerves. He closed the door and locked it, then got a fire going and started to relax. But every tile around the fireplace started looking like Jake Marley's face.
Oh, now come on, there's old boy. You got to get hold of yourself. This is ridiculous. I haven't touched a drop in weeks.
He got up and walked around the room a few times, then went back and sat down again. He stretched, rested his head on the back of the chair. From somewhere a bell started sounding. And Scrooge sat straight up in his chair. He heard something else, too, something from downstairs.
What the... Oh, now, what is that? What's going on here? Who's that? Come on, who's out there?
And all of a sudden, it came right out through the wall.
All right. Sit still, Scrooge.
Molly. Jake Marley. Oh, no. I gotta stop eating lobster. Ooh, it couldn't be. What's with you? Who are you?
Jake Marley. Who else?
You're dead.
The deadest. But nevertheless, Jake Marley.
His ghost.
Oh, you are very sharp today, Scrooge, old boy.
I don't believe it.
You got eyes, ain't you?
Yeah, and I got a bad stomach, too. That's who you are. Nothing but a bad case of indigestion.
You don't think I'm a ghost, huh? Okay. Maybe a good scare will change your mind.
Stay away from me. All right. I believe you.
You sold on the idea?
Yeah. But why did you come to see me?
Regulations. Every man's supposed to live his life and help his buddies. If he don't do it while he's alive, then he gotta do it after he kicks off.
Oh, cut it out! Why come to me?
Because you're gonna end up just like me, unless we do something in a hurry. Now, I haven't got much time, so you better listen.
Oh, I don't want to be like you. I'll listen.
Okay. You are gonna have 3 visitors. You are going to be haunted by 3 spirits.
Oh, no.
It is the only way you can keep from being like me. When you hear the bell strike 1, the first one will be here. Well, I gotta be going. You won't see me again, but you remember what I told you. So long, Scrooge, old boy. Your goosebumps can relax now.
Cut it out!
After the ghost took off, Scrooge just refused to believe it.
Nuts. This is ridiculous. Humbug.
Then he climbed into the sack and was soon snoring up a storm. When Scrooge awoke, it was still dark, and the bell from the church on 53rd Street was striking 12. He lay awake listening and thinking to himself.
Just a dream. Ghosts.
Finally, he dropped off again and slept for about an hour. Then the bell struck 1.
1 o'clock. I don't see no ghost. I knew it was something I ate.
All of a sudden, a big light flashed in the room, and the first of the spirits stood before him.
Oh, Jake was right. Are you the first spirit that Jake said had come to haunt me?
Yeah, you know it.
Well, who are you?
Me? I'm the ghost of Christmas past.
Yeah? How long past?
Your past. Come on. We're gonna take a little ride.
Well, where are we going?
Just relax. I'm running this tour.
Well, let me get my pants.
You got them.
Oh, they're on me.
With that, the ghost of Christmas past grabbed Scrooge by the hand, and they both flew out of the window. Scrooge nearly lost his upper plate, but before he could yell for help, he was standing in front of a dirty, ramshackle old tenement building.
You know where you are?
Sure I know where I am. This is where I was brought up. Even the garbage cans are the same.
You had a pretty tough time when you were a kid, didn't you?
The toughest? I wasn't very big. The rest of the kids in the neighborhood were. I had more black eyes than a crow.
You want to go in?
What for?
To see your folks.
My folks died a long, long time ago.
They're there now. Come on.
Well, the ghost took old Scrooge into the building and showed him a Christmas, years past, when he was a child with his family. Sure, it was tough living in two little rooms like that, but Scrooge remembered how wonderful it really was.
What's the matter, Scrooge?
Huh? Oh, I've got something in my eye.
You were pretty lonely when your folks... when they,
Yeah. You know, there was a young kid that came around earlier this evening and sang some carols. Gee, I wish...
Yeah? What do you wish?
Oh, nothing.
Come on. I want to show you another Christmas.
The spirit showed him another Christmas and still another. And you know, no matter how tough Scrooge remembered his childhood had been, it always seemed that Christmas was wonderful. And then before he knew it, Scrooge was back in his little room and the spirit was gone. Scrooge was pretty beat. He climbed into bed and dropped into a heavy sleep.
What's that? It's 2:00. Hey, that light in the other room. I got burglars.
Hey, Scrooge, come on in.
Who's that? What are you doing in the other room?
Come on in and take a look. It's pretty nifty.
Hey, what is this? What have you done to the room? Looks like Macy's window. Where'd you get all the holly and the mistletoe? And how did you get in here?
Do you like it?
Oh, for Pete's sake, a Christmas tree. Who are you?
The ghost of Christmas present. Now, don't tell me you don't like the way I fix things up. I work pretty hard.
Oh, second ghost. Okay, take me wherever you want to go, but believe me, next time I try the train.
Let's go. Now what do you see?
I see bright-colored lights, people having a lot of fun, kids on sleighs.
See that building over there? The one with the big reef on the front door?
Yeah, that's where Bob Cratchit lives. He works for me. Hey, look, there's Bob now.
They're going into the house. Up all those stairs to the 5th floor. He's got his little boy on his back.
Tiny Tim.
Yeah. He got polio last summer. Pretty sick little boy.
I know. Bob said he'd need a lot of care if he was ever going to walk again.
Come on. Let's take a peek.
Hi.
Hello, honey. You and Tim have a good time?
The best. Didn't we, Tim?
Yeah, Dad. We watched all the kids in the block on their sled. Mom, will I ever be able to ride a sled?
Of course, Tim. Won't you, dear?
Well, sure thing, Roughneck. Next Christmas, you'll be out there doing belly whoppers with the rest of them.
Dad, what's the matter? Your eyes are all wet.
Nothing, Tim. I just got some snow in them.
You want some chicken, Tim?
No turkey?
No, but lots of cranberries.
Okay. Can I sit next to you, Dad?
You just bet.
Bob, will you say grace, dear?
Can I say something first, Mom?
Of course, Tim. What would you like to say?
God bless us, everyone.
What's the matter, Scrooge, old boy? Got some snow in your eyes, too?
Tell me something.
Sure, if I can.
What about Tiny Tim?
Well, can't say for sure. If his old man makes enough money next year to get the white doctor, little Tim will get along just fine. But times are tough, aren't they, Scrooge?
Yeah.
Now the spirit of Christmas present took Scrooge to many places and showed him a lot of happiness and a lot of misery. And finally back to his little room, and the spirit was gone.
Oh, I don't know whether I can take much more of this.
Then a new ghost drifted in. This was the worst yet. he was really done up for haunting. He was all dressed in black with one arm sticking out and pointing right at poor old Scrooge. This was the last one of the spirits. Scrooge's knees sounded like castanets on a reducing machine.
Okay, you don't have to tell me. You're the ghost of the Christmas that hasn't come yet. You, I'm really scared of.
The ghost took off with Scrooge right after him. The city disappeared, and Scrooge found himself on the outskirts of town, standing in the graveyard. The night was howling like it was mad, and as Scrooge looked down, he saw...
Hey, what's this? What's this stone?
The black spirit stood still and pointed, so Scrooge leaned down, pulled away the bushes, and saw it was a tombstone.
There's a name here. Ebenezer Scrooge. Oh, no. Look at this. Believe me, I don't want this. I know I've done wrong, but I'm not kidding. I really know what Christmas means. It doesn't mean just today or tomorrow. It's every day of your life. I swear I'll do better. Only take me away from this. Let me try. Let me try to make Christmas right for me and for everybody else. Please, don't let this happen. Give me another chance. Well, don't just stand there. Put your arm back in. You'll catch cold. Well, say something.
Suddenly, Scrooge dropped to his knees and reached out for the spirit. But something happened. The spirit started to shrink. Then it collapsed. And when Scrooge looked up...
What the... My bedpost. My own bedpost. I'm home. Oh, thank goodness. I lived the past, the present, and the future, and now I'm home. Hallelujah! Spirit, wherever you are, believe me, from now on, things are going to be different. Oh, yeah. And thanks.
Paper, get your morning paper.
Hey, boy!
Yeah?
What day is this?
It's Christmas. What's with you?
Christmas. Oh, boy, I haven't missed it. The spooks did it all in one night. Boy!
Oh, it's you, Mr. Scrooge.
How many papers you got?
I don't know.
Well, here's $5. $5. Throw them away and then go have yourself a Merry Christmas.
Gee, thanks, Mr. Scrooge. And Merry Christmas to you.
Oh, boy, say that again.
Thanks.
No, the other.
Oh, you mean Merry Christmas?
Yeah, that's it. Merry Christmas.
Okay, I'm coming. What's the matter with you? Can't you see the store's closed? Look, mister, the store's... Ebenezer Scrooge.
Merry Christmas, Barney.
You've been drinking?
Not a drop. Well, what's the matter? Ain't you going to wish me a Merry Christmas?
Oh, sure, Sure. Come on in. The wife's upstairs with her mother, but I got a bottle in the back.
Look, Barney, I know your grocery store is closed, but you could still sell me a turkey, couldn't you?
What do you want a turkey for? You've been eating at the automat every Christmas for the last 7 years.
It's not for me.
Oh, then who's the bird for?
Bobby Cratchit. You know, the young guy that works for me.
Oh, yeah? How much you going to charge him?
Yeah, here's $20, huh? Here's the address. And listen, don't tell Cratchit who sent me. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
Merry Christmas, Marty.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Well, old Scrooge went back to his rooms and took an old blue suit out of the mothballs. He shook it out, put a few creases in it, and went out on the street. The old boy was really with it. Everybody he passed, he greeted them with...
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
He went to church and gave a large donation, and Father McCarthy nearly forgot his sermon. Yes, for the first time in his life, Scrooge was having a Merry Christmas and arrived early at his office. If he could just catch Cratchit coming in late, and he did. Bob was a good 21 minutes late.
Cratchit!
Oh, no.
You're 21 minutes late.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Mr. Scrooge. I had a big evening.
Oh, you did, huh? You know what I told you if I caught you fancy-footing it in here late again.
Okay, so I'm canned.
You think you got it coming?
I'm too tired to argue. Jobs are tough enough, and I hate to lose this one, but I'm just too tired.
A raise would help, huh?
Well, that's the silliest question of the year.
Then you got it. It's in the envelope.
What?
Uh-huh. Maybe after we see how the funds are, we might be able to do something about Tiny Tim.
I don't get it. A raise? You want to do something about Tim? I don't get it.
Sure you do, Bob. Haven't you heard? It's Christmas. Now go on home. Take the day off. Take the week off. Come back when you feel like it. Merry Christmas.
Mr. Scrooge?
Yeah?
Merry Christmas.
And Scrooge really did it. He was as good as his word, better even. He made it the merriest Christmas ever. And later things got better, and he took care of Tiny Tim. And sure enough, Tim was out on his sled the next Christmas doing belly whoppers with the best of them. Every Christmas thereafter, all along the big street, it was said, if anyone knew how to make Christmas merry, old Ebenezer Scrooge was that one.
And I hope that can really be said about all of us. Just like Tiny Tim said.
God bless us. Everyone.
That's it, Tim. God bless us. Everyone.
Oh, Rick, that was a wonderful story. Not quite the way Dickens wrote it, but it meant the same thing.
Well, thanks, Helen, dear. I thought you were good as Tiny Tim's mother, too, didn't you, Walt?
I sure did, and that's no humbug.
What in the world was that?
It's Sergeant Otis. He's still playing Marley. Otis!
Yeah, Ebenezer?
Oh, cut it out, Otis. The play's over. Go on, call officers Riley, Lund, and Miller, all of them. Tell them to leave the punch bowl and come over here. We're going to sing.
Oh, boy, I'll lead off. Jingle bells, jingle bells.
No, Otis. Rick will lead. We can join in later.
Oh, Lieutenant.
Go on, Rick.
Otis, stop breathing down my neck.
I'm just waiting to come in.
Otis.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Snow falling down from heaven, making a mantle of white. Sleigh bells are ringing, wonderful Christmas night.
Jingle bells, jingle bells.
No, not yet, Otis.
Voices that sing Hosanna, bathed in a heavenly light. Everyone happy, wonderful Christmas night. Otis, peace on earth, goodwill toward men. Otis, stop crying. Life on earth begins again. Joy in the hearts of children, there in the trees candlelight, all making merry, wonderful Christmas night.
Now, Lieutenant?
No, Otis.
Oh, let him sing, Walt. Come on, everybody.
Oh, boy. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Right here is where all the men and women who make the camels you smoke would like to wish each and every one of you the happiest of holiday seasons.
And right now might also be a good time to remind you that there's still plenty of time to add camels to your Christmas shopping list. Camels by the carton are so easy to give. Camels come in a beautifully decorated holiday package, so handsomely designed that you don't even have to wrap it. Just write your personal greetings on the card that's on the top of every special Camel Christmas carton.
And Camels are such a pleasure to receive. It's the cigarette enjoyed most in America, the cigarette that leads all other brands in popularity by billions of cigarettes per year.
So you can't go wrong by giving mild, flavorful Camels.
How mild, how mild, how mild, how mild, how mild can a cigarette be? Smoke Camels and
Here's Dick Powell with another special message.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, every week the makers of Camels send thousands of packs of Camels to service hospitals. That's to help show hospitalized men and women of the armed forces that those at home haven't forgotten them. This week's free Camels go to Veterans Hospitals, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and Amarillo, Texas. Nellis Air Force Hospital, Las Vegas, Nevada. U.S. Naval Hospital, Naval Medical Center, Guam, Marianas Islands. Now, until next week, enjoy Camels. I always do.
Dick Powell can now be seen starring in the Universal International film You Never Can Tell. Tonight's transcribed adventure of Richard Diamond was written by Blake Edwards with music by Frank Worth. Our director was Nat Wolf. Virginia Gregg played the part of Helen Asher, and Alan Reed was Lieutenant Levinson. Others in the cast were Barney Phillips, Arthur Q. Bryan, Jack Crucian, Joel Samuels, and Jeffrey Silver.
Are there pipe smokers on your Christmas list? There's still time to make them a present of pipeful after pipeful of the National Joy Smoke, Prince Albert. The Prince Albert 1-pound tin comes in a special Christmas box ready to give. There's a space right on it for your personal greeting. Give Prince Albert.
The bite is out and the pleasure's in when you smoke Prince Albert. It's specially treated not to bite your tongue. The bite is out and the pleasure's in.
Listen next week for another exciting adventure of Richard Diamond, starring Dick Powell. This is Your FBI. The official broadcast from the files of the FBI follows immediately. Stay tuned. This program came to you from Hollywood. This is the American Broadcasting Company.
Virgil Geddes is a successful playwright and poet who went to New England, the home of his ancestors, to become a country postmaster. A hitch in the Navy during World War I and a stay of several years in Paris as financial editor of the Chicago Tribune's European edition had taken him far from his small-town background, so that his coming to Brookfield, Connecticut, was, in a sense, a homecoming. During the 20s and 30s, he had become well known as the author of Native Ground, Behind the Night, from the life of George Emery Blum, The Earth Between, and many other plays. The American Academy of Arts and Letters and the National Institute of Arts and Letters have honored him with their award for outstanding achievement in literature. Yet, in the simple occupation he adopted in a quiet New England town, he found some satisfactions he could get nowhere else. This is Virgil Geddes' creed.
I was born in Nebraska and raised on the prairie by my grandparents, who gave me what few beliefs I have. These have not changed much over the years, since my experiences in life have, for the most part, merely fortified these few primary convictions. My grandfather believed in not being in a hurry, but he expressed it in a remarkable way. Walking across the prairie at a dog trot one day, he was on his way to town, a distance of 8 miles, to pick up his mail. He was overtaken by another prairie farmer with horse and buggy. "Want a ride, Mr. Geddes?" he was asked. "No," he replied, "I am in a hurry." Visitors from the city would often ask my grandmother if she did not find it lonely, living far away in the country and seeing strangers so seldom. "No," she would answer firmly, "I never have time." These two attitudes toward life represent to me deep-seated and fundamental beliefs. Otherwise, they would never have been expressed so succinctly by comparatively inarticulate people. The world today is a tough place for the artist. It is too much in a hurry, and usually for the wrong reasons. My grandfather was in a hurry also, but he did not want to be distracted by hurry-up devices, such as a horse and buggy. He preferred to walk. I often wonder how he would have resisted automobiles and traveled by air. Time, as we once knew it, has practically been destroyed, and accomplishment, which is tied closely to growth, cannot be in a hurry. I also believe in struggle. It sharpens the wits, develops one's originality, and keeps one from dying sooner than is necessary. To be an artist requires constant struggle. Just to live is comparatively quite easy. Almost anyone can live in one manner or another for the simple reason that he hasn't any other choice. But to become an artist demands an effort. Art is not something which one inherits, but something which a few people achieve. Many writers are content to write about that. To write about that requires only a modicum of talent. You read a few books, grab a subject out of the blue, so to speak, and write in a way that has been used before. The easiest people to write about are the dead. I always try to write about this because it requires more imagination, more struggle. It makes you look at the people around you and inside yourself. I believe it takes more courage to believe in someone or something than to reiterate the heresies and failures of a seemingly decadent world. Life being both the strange and also familiar thing that it is, I believe entirely too much fortitude is put into perpetuating unreality. Machines and the tremendous reductions in time and space have forced us to live in a world that is often abstract. The temptation to let one's personality become an abstraction also is very great. Therefore, I believe that a simple occupation like that of an old-fashioned country postmaster, of which I am one, is often the best thing that could happen to a sensitive person. Also, I should say, to a creative writer. It is a great cure for a torn soul, of which I was one, and a lesson to the hurried mind that people are still people and not things.
That was Virgil Geddes, playwright and poet, who writes about his recent experiences in the book Country Postmaster.
Mr. District Attorney, starring David Bryan. Mr. District Attorney, champion of the people, defender of truth, guardian of our fundamental rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
And it shall be my duty as district attorney not only to prosecute to the limit of the law all persons accused of crimes perpetrated within this county, but to defend with equal vigor the rights and privileges of all its citizens. This is David Bryan. In a moment, we'll bring you another case from the files of Mr. District Attorney. But first, a word from our sponsor.
And now, here is our star, David Bryan, as Paul Garrett, Mr. District Attorney.
Crime is not a respecter of time or of places. A district attorney knows that it may strike at high noon on the streets of the city or at midnight in the country. This one started on a lonely stretch of highway between two small towns on the outskirts of the county.
Hey! Hey, stop!
Having some trouble?
Yeah. My car conked out on me. I'm trying to get it started again for a half hour.
Maybe I can get it going for you. I know a little something about cars. Okay for try?
You bet. Go ahead.
It looks like she ain't about to start, friend. You must be out of gas.
Gage says she's half full.
Yeah, Gage must be busted then. Choking her like I did should have flooded the carburetor. If gas was feeding through, we would get the smell of it. We had better check the tank. Get a stick or something to shove in here for measuring, will you?
You bet. This branch ought to do it.
It's good enough. Get here.
Empty.
Dry as a bone.
Well, that leaves me in great shape.
I got a siphon hose in my trunk. I'm kind of low myself, but we can drain enough out of my tank to get you to Cedarville. It's only 4 miles. I live there.
Is there an all-night station there?
Oh, afraid not. Just a village. But I can put you up for the night if you don't mind bunking in the jail.
What do you mean, the jail?
I'm the constable.
Oh.
Oh, well, don't worry. The jail's clean. Now, come on if we're going to get you started.
Yeah, you bet.
Hose is in here someplace if I can find it. Got a match on you?
You bet.
Ought to be here someplace. Guess I let a lot of junk pile up.
Can't hold this match much longer.
Let's light another one.
That was the last one in the book. Well, come on. Have you got that hose or haven't you?
point in getting sore at me, mister. Hey, how come you didn't know the gas gauge in your car was busted?
It must have just happened, I guess.
Seems to me there's a sedan just like yours on my state bulletin, a hot car sheet. Say, you got proof of ownership on you?
I got proof all right in my pocket, pointed right square at your belly.
Use your head, young fella. A stolen car's a bad charge, but it ain't nearly as bad as using a gun to resist arrest. You better hand that gun over and come with me.
Why, you rube, you small town hick. You stinking rube. Come on. There's a car coming on your feet. Come on, I said, on your feet into that brush. Now, if they stop, you're going to get it right through the middle. You'll get yours for this. Help! A cross-country bus cop, go ahead and yell. Yell your heart out. Try to out-yell that motor. Now we can make a deal, cop.
I ain't making any deals with you.
Oh, yes, you are, and here it is. A bullet in exchange for your car. You're one cop nobody's going to worry about anymore.
Constable Wiley didn't have an easy death, Chief.
Look at that. I see him, Hank. He tried to call out to the road. Did he have a family?
Yeah, he had an invalid wife, 2 daughters, 3 grandchildren.
Well, he's got a hot seat out on Wiley's car. We might get a break.
I doubt it. He probably got where he wanted to go and ditched it during the night. The medical examiner figured Wiley's been dead since about 3 a.m. and was probably shot a couple of hours before that.
Yeah. Killer had a good start, all right. Let's get back to the road.
Chief, we've got one thing going for us. Prints of the man we're after might have been among the ones the lab crew lifted from the car he abandoned when he stole Wiley's.
I know. They're checking him all through the record bureau in the city. I asked Miss Miller to bring out the report if they come across anything promising.
If only we knew which way the killer took off.
Best guess is that he was headed for the city.
Well, why?
The car he abandoned was pointed that way. He wouldn't try to hide out in any of the smaller towns between here and there. It'd be too easy to trace.
It looks like they let a car through our roadblock down there.
Yeah. Well, that's a Central Division squad car. What's Miss Miller? Must have been something in the fingerprint report.
Yeah. Hi, Miss Miller.
Hello, Harrington. Mr. Garrett, the lab thought you'd better have the fingerprint information right away.
Oh, what is it?
One set of prints they lifted from the car has been positively identified through interstate records. They belong to Rex Lang.
Rex Lang?
Yes, sir. Morgan said the impressions were clear. There can't be any mistake. I made a copy of Lang's criminal record.
I don't need it. I know Lang's record by heart. You'd better get back to the city, Miss Miller, in case anything comes up at the office.
Yes, sir. Where will you be?
I want to make some stops along the road. Diners, service stations, places like that. We'll see you later.
All right.
Rex Lang, born in Idaho?
Yes, Pocatello, I think. He fancies himself as a ladies' man.
Before he went to the reformatory? Pretty young, Chief.
There was a high school girl who smuggled him a knife who used to kill the reformatory guard. And there have been indications that he used a woman as a lookout on burglaries where his prints have been found.
I'd love to get him.
Harrington, what I'm going to say now isn't an order. I want that to be clear in your mind.
What are you driving at, Chief?
If you ever corner Rex Lang, you'll have a mad dog in your hands. But I want him taken alive if it's humanly possible.
I understand, Chief.
Now, remember, it's not an order. You may have to play it his way.
I still think maybe I'll be able to recognize him from that old mugshot.
He's a cop killer, Harrington. Just make sure you don't recognize him too late.
Oh, Mr. Garrett, I've been trying to get you for 2 hours.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I told you we were checking places on the highway into town.
I know. I just missed you at a service station and 2 diners. Constable Wiley's car's been found.
Oh, yeah? Where?
An empty lot at the end of Jasper Avenue, Harrington. Lab crew's working it over now. How'd you make out?
Nothing, I'm afraid. You better get into my office, Harrington.
Oh, maybe the lab report now. District Attorney's office. Yes, Morgan, he just came in.
I'll take it, Miss Miller. Hello, Morgan.
Hello, Chief. Just finished checking Wiley's car. Got some more of Lang's fingerprints.
Well, that pins it to him, all right. You find out how long the car's been there?
Yeah. Guy in the house across from the lot was up walking his baby last night. The kid was teething. Said he heard the car, looked out of the window, saw a man leave it in the lot.
You get a good enough look to give us a description?
No.
Did you know what time it was?
He said 1:30 a.m. And then checks.
With what?
End of the subway line is only a block from where the car's ditched. I had one of the boys check, make a call to the night cashier. I figured if Lang left the neighborhood, he left by subway.
No, good thinking. Did the night cashier see him?
Yeah, at least he saw a guy. Came in just in time to get the 140. Only passenger at that station.
Well, could the cashier give you a description?
Not much. Brown suit and hat, that's all. Head was pulled way down, he said. He sure was burned.
Who?
The cashier. Lang stole a magazine from him.
A magazine?
Yeah, thing called Magic Mirror. You know, the picture magazine.
Now, how'd that happen?
Well, this cashier is some kind of screwball, I think. About a year ago, this magazine did a feature story on the subway system. The cashier's picture was in it. I guess he kept it around to show people whenever he got a chance.
No.
So Lang was sitting on the platform waiting for the train. He offered him the magazine to look at. He expected Lang to come across his picture and notice it, I guess. But then the bell rang for the train, and Lang galloped off with the magazine. The guy couldn't leave the cash booth and chase him, so Lang
Look, Morgan, excuse me. But that magazine may mean a lot. I'm hanging up. Talk to you later. Chief, what is it? A break, maybe. Miss Miller, I want you to get on the phone right away.
Yes, sir.
Call Magic Mirror Magazine. Get the editor, get the date and the description of a cover for an issue they put out last year with a feature story on the city subway system.
Yes, sir.
You come in here, Harrington. Sorry? Take that phone, extension 3. Call the city sanitation department. Tell them to hold up all pickups of refuse from subway containers and subway entrance containers. Yeah, but why are you so... Just do it. I'm going to contact the Transit Commission. Get their inspectors out. Lang had a year-old copy of that magazine. If we're lucky, he might not have left it on the train. He might have carried it off and dropped it in a refuse container. And if we find out which container... We'll know where he left the train, and it'll give us a good idea of what part of the city he's hiding in. Get to it. This is David Bryan. Before we continue with Mr. District Attorney in the case of the cop killer, here is an important message I'd like you to hear.
And now back to David Bryan, starring as Paul Garrett, Mr. District Attorney.
A local constable had been killed on the outskirts of the county by a known and much-wanted murderer. He had driven the constable's stolen car into the city, abandoned it, and taken a subway, inadvertently stealing an old copy of a magazine from the subway cashier. We traced the magazine to a trash box at an uptown station, but there all clues faded out. 4 days in this crummy neighborhood is beginning to get me down, Chief. Even if Lang did come to this area, he might have gone by now. Just the same, we won't keep looking until we're sure. The whole district has been under around-the-clock surveillance since we found that old magazine. Now, how about some breakfast? There's that Spanish place across the street, Lobo's. Yeah, that's as good as any place around here, I guess. I'm so hungry, I'll even eat enchiladas for breakfast. Let's cross. You know, Chief, why is it that every mug we're after hides out in a tenement district? Now, what makes you think he isn't in the better section around here, where the hotels and the shops are? It's only 2 blocks away. Well, there are more people around here and fewer questions asked. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Buenos dias, senor.
Oh, hello. Oh, let's take a booth, huh? I'm tired of eating off counters.
You wish to see the menu, senor? I have everything.
Yeah, make mine fruit juice, couple of eggs scrambled, easy with bacon, and toast and jelly. Oh, that sounds good to me. Double it.
Buenos dias, senorita. I will be with you in one moment.
You bet.
Coffee now or later, senor?
Later. You go ahead and wait on the lady first. I just want to sit here and give my feet a rest.
That's it.
Thought you were going to have enchiladas for breakfast.
Yeah, when you get through with the eggs, maybe I'll wish I had.
I just want a container of coffee to go, Lobo.
See. You want it black?
No, cream and sugar. Here.
13 cents change. Thank you, senorita.
You bet.
Sit tight, Hangin. Oh, miss. Just a minute, please.
Were you speaking to me?
Yes. I happened to look out of the booth and saw you. Don't I know you from someplace?
I don't think so.
Oh, you look familiar. You live around here, don't you?
You bet.
Oh, I'm a photographer. Used to have my shop around here about a year ago. Maybe I took some photos of you.
No, not me. I've only been in the neighborhood for 6 weeks.
Oh. Well, maybe it was someplace else. Where do you come from?
New Jersey.
Well, that's your home state?
You bet.
Well, my mistake, I guess. I was sure I knew you. Excuse me, please.
You bet.
You have the wrong senorita, no?
Well, maybe. Cancel our orders. Here's $1 for your trouble. Come on, Harrington. We're leaving. See you later, Lobo. Oh, there she is. Turning the corner.
Gee, do you mind letting me in on this?
Did you notice how that girl kept saying, you bet?
Yeah. And what about it?
That reformatory report on Lang, the part about his habits, his favorite expression was, you bet.
So?
She picked up that habit someplace, Harrington. Probably from being around somebody who uses the expression constantly.
And that could mean Rex Lang.
Let's see where she's taking that container of coffee.
Well, there she goes, Chief.
Yeah, a jewelry store.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to find Lang in there.
So he went to the back of the store. I'm going for a phone booth. Have Miss Miller check on a few things. You stay right here on this block, though. Walk to the corner with me.
If she's Lang's girl, she wouldn't be working tight, Chief.
I can think of a good reason she might be working in a jewelry store.
You mean casing it? For Lang to knock over?
Yeah, it's been done before.
Yeah, it's pretty dangerous for her, Chief.
I'm going to have Miss Miller check on Lang's methods in robberies he's pulled in the past. You see what you can find out along the street here. She's a very pretty girl, so it's a safe bet she's been noticed by other shopkeepers along here. Maybe one of them will know her name, where she lives.
I'll tip our hand if I go around asking too many questions.
Oh, don't make them sound like official questions. Make them sound like you're just another man who's seen a pretty girl. Now get going. I'll call Miss Miller and wait till she calls me back. Meet you at the car in about an hour. Hello.
Mr. Garrett?
Yes?
I got the out-of-state records, Mr. Garrett. Lang's known burglaries in the past include 2 jewelry stores, 4 finance companies, and a private home where the owner was in the habit of keeping expensive jewelry and cash in the safe.
Well, how about the girl angle?
Yes, sir. A girl answering the description you gave me worked in almost all the places I've mentioned. In each case, she put a job a month or 2 before the burglary took place.
Well, that's the modus operandi I've been looking for. Well, thanks for the information, Miss Miller. I think we're getting close to Lang.
Mr. Garrett, if you are, don't you want a few more men up there?
No. I would only give Lang a few more targets. Goodbye. I'll check with you later.
What time you got, Chief?
Almost 1.
She'll have to be going back to work soon.
Yeah.
Comes home for lunch every day. Bought quite a lot of stuff at the delicatessen for one person.
What did you say the name was again?
Nita. Nita Moran. She had the search warrant for 74. Look, why don't we walk right in and flash it?
Because if Lang isn't up there with her, I don't want her to know we've been there. Oh, there she comes. Back in the doorway, quick.
It's a good thing we ducked. She sure does look around when she comes out.
Let's go up. Here are the mailboxes.
Yeah. Here it is. Moran. 2nd floor right.
Try the whole door.
Open?
Go ahead.
Better have your gun ready.
I've got it right here in my pocket. This is it.
I'll not. Stay back to the side.
What?
Who are you looking for?
Oh, the lady in this next
She
apartment.
ain't home. She works.
Maybe her husband's home.
She ain't got no husband. She's alone. You want me to tell her something for you?
No, thanks. We're just selling magazine
Didn't you see
subscriptions.
the sign downstairs says no peddlers? You better get out of here before the landlord catches you.
Now it's magazine.
Oh, I had to tell her something, in case she mentions this to the Moran girl.
Dumb me. Well, what now?
Got a master key?
Yeah.
Well, let's get inside. Not so much noise.
Well, I got a fit. There it is.
Yeah, now we can have a look around.
Well, we can see a girl lives here, all right.
Yes, but there's no sign of a man.
Closet. No men's clothing. Bathroom. Nothing in there.
Just a second.
You've got good eyes if you can see anything through that window, Chief. I can't with that thick gray glass.
I wasn't looking through the window. I was looking at this.
Huh? What?
The windowsill. Paint is chipped off in 2 spots.
Old building. Paint dried and cracked years ago.
The bathtub's right under the window. Look at it.
Hey, that looks like the mark of a rubber heel.
A man's heel.
Wouldn't have taken a bath with his shoes on.
No. Let's raise this window. Slowly and carefully. Just a fraction of an inch so I can see out under it. That's enough. These window sashes are well oiled.
Can't you see anything?
Opens on an air shaft. Between this tenement and the next one. That window across the shaft would be 2nd floor left in the next building. All right. Close it.
Well, what do you think?
Well-oiled sashes. Marks in the old paint on the sill. That shaft is about 6 feet wide. Anybody could stretch a ladder or a piece of plank from that building to this.
There's no ladder or plank here.
Well, that'll be in the other building. Rex Lang's private drawbridge.
Holy smoke. What a gimmick.
Gimmick is right. You never have to leave the place. Nobody ever sees him come in or go out. Come on.
Then what's our play?
Well, we go next door. Check that 2nd floor left apartment.
If Lang's across there, Chief, he'll be barricaded in with an arsenal.
Well, we're not going to take him over there.
Where are we going to take him?
We'll take him tonight when he crawls across that air shaft for his dinner. Get going. Now, when everything's set up before Nita Moran comes home from work.
Hot in this closet. 5:15. She ought to be home.
Morgan Postman?
Yep, in the basement. Window leads from it to the bottom of the air shaft. It's a good thing you thought of that building next door. Imagine, that 2nd floor left nailed up tight. You'd never suspect it was being used for a hall.
Well, that's the way Lang wants it to look.
The owner has a petty record. Must be helping Lang.
For an extra high rental. You pick him up later. Wait a minute.
She's coming. Let's hope she has nothing to hang up in this whole closet.
No, I can see a little. He's going into the bathroom. Come on. She won't see us now. Wait. Now.
There goes the bathroom window. Wonder how she signals them.
There it is. Throws pebbles or something against his window.
Hey, listen. That must be his window going up.
Yeah. Get ready.
Pushing something across.
All right. I got it.
Resting right?
Mm-hmm. Come on.
Now.
What?
Stay right out there, Lang. Right on your hands and knees.
Keep quiet, miss.
Don't try to crawl back. There's another man with a gun right under you.
Did you ever get pocket, Harrigan?
Push the ladder. Coming down in the shaft.
Give me, old boy.
Grab him, Morgan.
I got him. My leg. Let me up.
Hold the girl, Harrington. I'm going down.
What's the cash, Chief? There's Jeff Edwards over here.
I see you.
I'd have blasted you all if I could have.
Your blasting days are over, Lang. How is he, Morgan?
Looks like a broken leg, that's all.
Harrington.
Yeah, Chief.
Call for a police ambulance.
Okay. Oh, tip-jaw. You'd never catch me without a tip-off. Or was it Edith? Or that thieving landlord? Well, answer me. What is it? A police secret or something?
You bet, Rex. You bet. This is David Bryan again. I hope you've enjoyed this case from the file of Mr. District Attorney. I'll be back in just a moment after this message from our sponsor.
Now, here's the star of Mr. District Attorney, David Bryan, with a word about the program you have just heard.
Rex Lang was tried and convicted for murder in the first degree. He was executed in the manner prescribed by law. Nita Moran was convicted of major crimes in several states and is serving accumulated sentences of more than 50 years. Lang's landlord, Fritz Rudell, is serving 10 years for knowingly harboring a fugitive. Now, this is David Bryan inviting you to join us when we present our next case based on the facts of crime from the file of Mr. District Attorney.
Mr. District Attorney was originated by Philip H. Lord.